Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Let's get our heads right here on Ben and Woods this morning. Great to be here with you. Phenomenal day yesterday. One of the best days I can remember. Thank you for all the birthday love and appreciation. It really means a lot to me, and was very, very special day. Very special day indeed. I'm Woodsy. To my right, the Eagle has landed, Mr. Paul Reindl, our executive producer. Hi, Paulie.
Oh, you can see me. Nice to be noticed.
The drama that happened last night, Benjamin.
I did. It's funny. We can crop them out of our YouTube stream too. We just push you right off to the side there.
Paulie, if you can move yours to where it's just your ear, that'd be fantastic.
I'd be happy
because
to.
That's what happened last night. I'll explain in a moment. To my left, our benefactor, our golf benefactor yesterday, Benjamin R. Higgins. Thank you for a phenomenal, beautiful.
Honestly,
beautiful
I think your birthday was better than my birthday. I had so much fun yesterday.
So much fun.
Had a really good time playing golf with the three of us and Adam Jones out at Aviara. It was a beautiful day. Course was in great shape. It was fun to spend some time with AJ after talking to him so many times from the other side of the world. To have him here and I get to be with him for a day was really, really cool. It was your birthday. Paul, you said the Eagle has landed. If anyone knows Aviara, the 8th hole, par 5, downhill. Paul hits probably one of his best drives of the day.
Right down the middle. He's got 236.
I did the math.
Yeah.
It was a 285-foot drive.
Yard.
Yard.
Yeah, because you would not want to drive it 200.
No,
you did. You had one of those.
I probably had a few of those. 285 yards left me with
235. Yeah.
Over the lake onto the green.
Yeah, over the water. I go, is he going for
slightly downhill lie?
I had an 8-iron in my hand. We were right around the same place after our drives.
Ben and I were teammates, and both of our drives were in similar spots. And Ben goes, he was a little behind me. He goes, I'm going to lay up. Play it safe. He laid up.
Shocker.
He laid up, but he was safe. He's in the fairway.
Of course, he's always safe.
So I go, all
That's
right.
why he shot an 82.
But he went first, and I go, all right, well, that means he's like, I think you should go for it.
Right.
Like, I'm going for it.
I'm the David Sims of the pairing. He's the Roy McAvoy here.
David Sim. I'll take 18 of them. Paulie sticks this ball, hits it, goes on the green. None of us can see it. Adam Jones is like, damn!
I knew it got on the green. That's all I knew. I thought it might have even rolled off.
It's still rolling. I'm like, rolling out, back? What is it?
He's like, it's still rolling. Yo, it's still rolling.
Get up there. He's 3 feet. He's 3 feet for essentially a tap-in eagle.
So I was also the Rene Russo character because I was telling him, go for it, Roy.
Yeah, go for it, Roy. Yeah, 100%. Paulie gets up. I get the camera out. I start rolling, and I'm like, the best part of the camera is Ben in the background with his hands over his eyes. It's so good.
I couldn't bear if you missed an essential tap in for Eagle. I couldn't bear seeing
He
it.
drains it, gets an eagle. It was awesome. Golf's a weird sport because, like, I'm playing against Paulie, but I really wanted him to make that eagle. But, like, later in the round, if you've got a 6-foot putt for a par to tie us, I'm like, miss it.
We were doing
but an eagle, I'm like, yeah.
We were playing a points-based game.
Right.
You and Adam Jones against me and Ben. You guys were up 6 points at that time.
That eagle
put us up by 1, and we never
really. What did we end up losing? All of it.
Paulie, did you have the finals?
It was 30 to 16.
Oh, yeah, 14.
So we owe you guys $7 each.
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Cough it up.
Well, I will. It was such a fun day. So then I get home and I walk in the door and no one's home yet. Hannah went to get the kids and asked me what I wanted for dinner. And I said, I want In-N-Out. And so she stopped by In-N-Out and it was fantastic, brought it home. But the kids just jumped into my arms. Daddy, happy birthday. I was like, it was amazing. And then, I was watching the game. We'll get to the game, of course. It was awesome. And I just did a little Instagram post for my wife and kids. And then I put a picture of all 4 of us playing golf. And I said, I blew out the candles. I got everything I wished for today. It was awesome. Thank you guys for the love. And then I see the comments start rolling in.
Everything you wished for.
Where's Paulie?
Including no Paulie.
Yeah, including no Paulie. Where's Paulie? Why did you crop out Paulie? Where's Paulie? And I'm like, what are you idiots talking about? Scroll over on Instagram. Sure enough, picture I posted has completely cropped Paulie out. So it's me, Ben, and Adam Jones.
If you're watching on the YouTube, this is the Ben and Woods post.
That's the post.
That is the original picture. taken horizontal.
Yeah, just the four of us. I look like a whale.
Well, you're closest to the camera.
Somebody, you guys cannot let me be the selfie taker. Good God. You guys all look fantastic.
Then let's go over to Stephen Woods' post.
Go to my post.
There's his beautiful wife and children.
Yep.
Just so appreciative for all the things in his life. Sweet Bo.
Sweet Bo and Taylor.
Oh.
And then there's the cropped out.
I see an ear.
There's an ear.
There's
an ear and a side of a hat.
Yeah,
so.
you left me just enough in there for everybody. Like
everyone
it was
know.
like you intentionally
crop Paulie out.
I want everyone to know I'm cropping.
Man, I didn't do it on purpose. Apparently, that's something that with Instagram they have not figured out to resize automatically all the pictures. So I didn't even think twice about it. Picked the picture I wanted.
Like
the fourth one.
Had you made the first picture in your, I had to.
Probably had to walk me through it again this morning.
At about 5:30 this morning, I had to pull up photos, start an Instagram
do
post,
a mock post,
literally show him. So if you start with a photo that's horizontal and then add more,
I had no idea.
They'll all be horizontal.
I told Shelly, and she goes, "Oh yeah, that's happened to me before too."
I had no idea.
First one vertical, and then you have a horizontal picture. It doesn't turn out when you do a sequence.
So to make it right on my Instagram story, I celebrated Paul's eagle and the video of Paul's eagle, which was awesome. It was just a great day, man. I was blown away. I was blown away. Thank you too, of course, for just who you are and what we get to do, and obviously all the tier ones that reached out and said nice things. That was incredible. So thank you. Thanks to my wife, made it so special, and my beautiful kids, my family. It was amazing. It was a perfect day.
The only problem was after having so much fun yesterday, I got up this morning briefly thinking it was Saturday and I could go back to sleep. And then I realized, no, it's only Friday. Then I realized.
No. I was like, no.
No, wait, it's still just Thursday.
The only good news is we do have a short show today. We do have a short show today.
We are out of here at 9:07 a.m. for Sam Levitt. And some early Padres baseball as they're going to go for a sweep of the Toronto Blue Jays with Blake Snell on the mound after yesterday's 2-0 victory. Yu Darvish fueled 2-0 victory over the Blue Jays at Rogers Center. And we will talk about that game, obviously, coming up more this morning. But overall, just a well-pitched, efficient performance. Not a lot of offense on either side for sure, but just enough from your San Diego Padres and one Manny Machado to get the job done yesterday.
Well, for the birthday boy who wanted nothing more than a Padres win, how great was that? You get the win and your favorite baseball player knocks in the 2 runs to get the job done. It was a perfect birthday dub for me. I was so excited that they got that done. It was a quick game, efficient, like you said. Things moved really, really well. Obviously danced out of a little trouble there, but it was something to see. Now I'm going to ask you this, Benny, because I'm very impressed with your streak that you're on this week. Ben Stradamus over here. 2 for 2 so far this week, calling these Toronto Blue Jays games. If you guys do remember, if you listened to the show a couple days ago, Ben said before game 1, here's what I want tonight. I want no runs from this bullpen. Okay? They go out. 2 pitchers come in, get the job done, no runs from the bullpen. Again, got a little dicey there for a moment in the 7th, but Cosgrove got out of it. No runs from the bullpen. Check. Yesterday, you say to us, you know what I'd like to see from the San Diego Padres tonight? I'd like to see a close win. I'd like to see a well-pitched game and a close victory to pull one out. That's what I want to see. A close game win. You're 2 for 2. So you can answer now or you can wait until we come back and give everybody stay hot. Like you're on a heater right now. Stay hot. Keep the dice in your hand.
All right, I'm going to wait because here's why I'm not ready. I am of 2 minds still of where I'm kind of going for today's game. Got 2 different thoughts on the matchup and how it can play out. And I'm going to wait until inspiration hits.
Okay.
Until I'm tapped on the shoulder by whatever spirit fills me up with my predictions this week. And when it happens, I will absolutely let everybody know what will in fact happen in today's Padres game.
No, I agree. I think that's the proper course of action. I know how I feel about this morning's game. I know exactly how I feel it should go. But I think that this win, the 2 wins, great. We're no longer, I think, in a position to be like, hey, it's cool. We won the series. It's all good. I think tomorrow, if they lost, I'll come in here and be pretty pissed. You've got them on the ropes. Don't let them back in it, man. Do not let this team back in it. You've got probably the guy that you've definitely handled him before in Chris Bassett, and you have your best pitcher on the mound. Sorry, man. No moral victories today for a hard-fought loss for your San Diego Padres. They're not in a position right now where they can be coughing up really any games at all. And I know that that's unrealistic to expect them to go, 66-0 to finish the season. That's not going to happen. You need to get as close to it as you can, and it starts today by taking care of a guy that you've taken care of before.
Yeah, and you need to save some of those losses for when you may have your 5th starter or bullpen day going. We heard yesterday that Michael Wacha, while he threw in Toronto, that he's probably going to need to do that a few more times, according to Bob Melvin.
It's like 10 days away or something
before he can return to the rotation. So you're going to be operating under a bit of a catch-as-catch-can situation in your 5th starter role, and that I don't have the Padres won a single game started by anyone other than their top 4 starters, when Michael Wacha's been out. I mean, anyone other than basically Darvish, Snell, Musgrove, Wacha, or Lugo, maybe Martinez earlier in the season when he was in the rotation. But have they even won a game when either a bullpen guy started, or I guess Waldron, they won the game that no, did they win? He pitched okay, but they didn't win that game. I'll have to look back and see.
There was a record that was up, and I want to say it was like 1-7. So there was somebody, I just can't remember which one.
Someone won one, but
the ERA was around 7.
Yeah, it's been rough pretty much all season long. So you can't count on a bunch of wins, and you need to get him back at some point. So we'll talk about it. It is Thursday. Eno Sarris is scheduled to join us. Paulie let us know that so far Eno's been a little incommunicado, but we trust that at some point between now and 8:35,
when he's there every Thursday,
scheduled to join us, that he'll be ready. So we expect to have a smart baseball segment with Eno Sarris at 8:35, and that'll be our last segment going into Padres pregame today. All guests on Ben Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. I can tell you, we've got our daily ditty when we come back. Theme of Bands of Canada continuing this week. We also have a ticket giveaway. I think I can say that we have never given away tickets to this particular event/competition before.
Okay.
I'll just leave it at that.
All right.
And we'll let you know what's coming up
Great
when
tease.
we return with Ben and Woods. Glad to have you with us on a post-Woodsy birthday Thursday on San Diego's #1 sports station. Let's check Kelly and traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Put that every in the skinny pieces. My baby.
This is radio safe, right, Paulie?
Yes.
I hope not. Let's live dangerously.
Well, our Spotify playlist for the Daily Ditty that you can go and subscribe. It's this will be the explicit version on there.
Yes.
The way it's supposed to be. But this is The Weeknd. A little bit of a throwback for him. Starboy.
So good.
I love The Weeknd.
I do too. So good.
I have to say, I do enjoy The Weeknd,
It's
and not
fantastic.
just
Ladies and
The
gentlemen.
Weeknd.
The Weeknd.
He is so damn talented.
Very talented. Very talented. I had no idea he was Canadian. Not that there's anything wrong with being Canadian, just so you know.
You don't have to even say that, you know?
Go ahead. I just didn't know. From Canada. Huh. Interesting. I didn't know Loverboy was from Canada yesterday.
They look just like the rest of us. They
weird.
can infiltrate very
can.
easily.
Yeah, they can.
And you don't know they're Canadian
That's
until
true.
boom, you get your first boot.
And they
then
say,
you're
hey,
like,
sorry.
Oh man,
Yeah, you're right.
you have just fooled me, and now I know you're Canadian.
Right again, my friend. Right again.
So one thing I want to talk about today, and Paulie has it set out for our 7:00 hour on the rundown, and I want to hear from Padres fans as well. I sent out a tweet last night
Oh, boy.
about Juan Soto when he had walked 3 times going into his 4th at bat, and he came up, runner on second base, 1 out, chance to add some insurance. It's a 2-0 lead, drive in a run. And he gets ahead, with his good eye. He's up in the count 3-1 against whoever was in from the Toronto bullpen at that point. And he took 2 pitches at 3-1, both fairly solid strikes. One was a nice lane-changing cutter that went from the inside corner to, a little inner half of the plate at 3-2. And the other one was on the edge of the zone, but down the middle of the plate and struck out looking. And I tweeted when I watched that last at bat is why Juan Soto can be frustrating at times. Runner at second to drive in, gets ahead 3-1, but takes 2 pitches that could have been chances to drive in the run and strikes out. Even if he walks there, it's only a minimal game as it sets up the double play possibility as well. My sense was that Padres fans who are not giant Juan Soto backers, that's why they get frustrated, because they look at a guy batting third and they expect someone who is going to be your traditional RBI, looking for, drive the ball to the gaps, over the wall, extra bases, bring in the runs in that situation. And he just didn't look like a player that was trying to drive in the run there. Now, I will be the first to tell you that I think Juan Soto is an incredibly valuable player, Woods. But at the same time, that on-base percentage, the leading the baseball in all of walks, is batting third the right place for Juan Soto than in a lineup where he's more of a table setter maybe for the Padres.
There's 2 things that I think cause the misperception of Juan Soto. The first one is because everyone knows what Juan Soto turned down. Everybody in the world knows that Juan Soto turned down $440 million. And every single Padre fan that hates Juan Soto, they always couch their statement with, there's no way I'm giving that dude $440 million. There's no way he's worth $440 million. And you know what? You might be right. You might be right. But if you didn't know that, Ben, if he was, what's he making this year? What's his salary?
I think 22.
22?
Yeah.
Okay. There's 24 players that make $22 million that are way worse than Juan Soto. No question. Defensively this year, been a bit of a train wreck. I'll give you that. Without him, our offense is dead. He has scored 55 runs. He's driven in 54 runs. He's on base all the friggin' time. I see what you're saying, though, about the 3-hole. I said it from the beginning of the year. Put the dude if he's going to go up there and work 9-pitch walks, put him in leadoff. Now, we talked to Adam Jones about it, 2 months ago. He goes, that's a great idea. Until you realize that he's a vending machine on the base paths. And I said, yeah. So, you got to have somebody that can run the bases. He's not a great base runner. He's not super fast. He's not really that good of a heady base runner either. You don't have to be fast to be a good base runner. He's neither. I don't know what the right spot is for Juan Soto, other than maybe the 2-hole, which, by the way, he doesn't like hitting it. So we're really between a rock and a hard place. I don't think what you were doing was criticizing Juan Soto. It's frustrating to me, though, when anyone 3-1 watches 2 pitches down the. It doesn't matter if it's Jake Cronenworth, Juan Soto, Manny Machado. They've all done it. Xander Bogaerts has done it. I mean, there's not that attack mode from this team very often. The grinding out the bat. Somebody tweeted the other day that it made perfect sense, bro. The frustrating thing about the Padres is they're up there waiting for their pitch, and when they get their pitch, they don't hit it, and then they swing at something that's not their pitch. It happens all the time. Now, when it works,
Jake, it's happened, I think, 17 million times this
no
season
question.
for Jake Cronenworth,
No question.
unfortunately.
But Jake, you know what Jake Cronenworth didn't do? He didn't turn down $440 million. And everyone out here saying, you got to trade this guy, you got to trade this guy, you got to get rid of him. I mean, honestly, like, we'd be dead in the water without him. His average with runners in scoring position this year is good. He's having a really, really good, nice season.
In fact, you look at the numbers, you can argue he may be the best, most productive Padres player in those situations this season.
Yeah, I think he and Tatis have had.
Tatis has the highest average, I think, but Juan's driven him a lot of runs.
Yes.
And, he's still got his power. He hits his extra base hits.
Why? And I'm not you. I'm the same way. He frustrates the hell out of me sometimes. We are very quick to forget that just the night before, he drove in 3 runs, hit a home run, hit a double, 6-7 total bases the night before. It scored 3 runs that night as well. Like, we don't, it's just one of those things where it's like, and he walked as well. So it just, his lack of aggression sometimes makes it a frustrating watch. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that.
Yeah, I think without a doubt, Juan Soto is a great player, but he does not fit in any neat box.
No.
As to, what he should be as a Major League Baseball player. He's not a prototypical leadoff hitter.
Nope.
As you said, maybe a number 2 hitter is probably what he most resembles, like a really solid, productive number 2 guy, but he doesn't like hitting there.
Right.
3s, he doesn't look like the 3 hitter. Definitely not a cleanup guy. That's not what he is. He's too good to be hitting any lower in the order than that. So nothing really completely fits for Juan Soto, and he always looks a little bit out of place wherever the Padres end up putting him in the lineup.
Yeah, I agree. And again, the Ted Williams comp kills him as well. Mark DeRosa calling him the next Ted Williams. That's what everyone expects to see. And, if you look at Juan Soto for what he's good at, getting on base, he's elite. He's elite. He gets on base. And he scored 55 runs. He's driven in 54. That's 109 runs he's accounted for with the San Diego Padres this year. So Brent says his performance in high leverage situations is a lot worse. Most of these guys' performance in high leverage situations this year has been bad. Again, I think he gets unfairly singled out because of what the money he turned down. I really do. I think that's a big, big part of it. We asked Adam Jones about it on the golf course yesterday. I go, he goes, I can't imagine turning down 440, but I ain't Juan Soto. It's like, fair enough. And our lineup gets worse with him out of it. Period, bar none. And our memory with Juan is very short. It's very short. It is a big time. What have you done for me lately? Well, I hit a 2-run Oppo Jack last night and an RBI double. I knocked in 3 runs and scored, and I walked.
It's so
one.
true. It is.
I mean, it's like, well, yeah, but today, and this is not against you. I do the same thing on him. I'm like, let's go, swing the bat. But it's just the way that it is. I hate it. I don't do that to other players.
I know.
I think he's unfairly targeted. It's like
all true.
And I'm guilty.
Yeah, we all feel that way. All right, we will talk more about that and take your phone calls coming up. We do have our Padres recap just ahead. It was a win yesterday, so let's not harp too much on the negative as they beat the Toronto Blue Jays. Right now, though, a chance, if you're interested in maybe checking out something a little bit different, we're giving away a 4-pack of tickets to the SD Growlers final game of the regular season this Saturday at Mission Bay High School. What are the Growlers? Pray tell.
What are the Growlers?
It's professional ultimate Frisbee here in San Diego. Guys are actually really talented what they can do with these discs as they're playing this game. If you haven't checked it out, this is your opportunity to do so by winning a 4-pack of tickets right now. You can go to sdgrowlerstore.com to buy your own or win them by being the third caller at 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Call now. I'll win a 4-pack of tickets to the SD Growlers Ultimate Frisbee game this weekend at Mission Bay High School. And we'll be back with our Padres recap, our wrap-up of a 2-0 win over the Toronto Blue Jays next year with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Sarah Bennett Woods is brought to you by the Golf Mart. Probably need a trip there after the number of golf balls that we lost yesterday at Aviara in our foursome.
Peppered that course with I'd say about a dozen. Yeah, about a dozen balls.
If you want to go,
Fun day out.
You want to go a real hard target search out there, you can definitely load up on fairly new Titleists and Callaways and whatever we were playing out there. We were left with by the end of our round.
Sitting for the picking.
They're somewhere in the bushes on the side of the holes out
One
there.
might be in a couple might be in some yards.
Yep. A couple at the bottom of the lake.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
There's some of those picturesque waterfalls that they have on that course.
Yes, indeed.
I think we all dropped a few.
I didn't hit any water.
We just got an interesting
You didn't
tweet.
hit any water?
I did not hit water.
Seehoff says there are 22 two-way players that make more per year than Juan Soto. Only a handful are worse than Juan Soto. Chris Bryant, Miggy Cabrera, Anthony Rendon, Giancarlo Stanton. He says all four are better defensively. I don't know that I can agree with you that Miggy Cabrera and Giancarlo Stanton are better at defense than Juan Soto is. I also, if you look at the highest paid players per year, Aaron Judge, who hasn't played in 2 months, Mike Trout is hurt. Corey Seager, yeah, he's better. Nolan Arenado, not having the best season of his career. I think he's come on lately. Francisco Lindor, I'll take Juan Soto. Carlos Correa, I'll take Juan Soto. Miggy Cabrera, I'll take Juan Soto. Giancarlo Stanton, I'll take Juan Soto. So I don't know that tweet is entirely accurate. Jose Altuve, I don't think he's having a great year. I'll take Juan Soto. Bryce Harper, having a good year. He was hurt a lot. Trey Turner, not having a good year. I'll take Juan Soto. Freddie Freeman, very, very good. Christian Yelich, I'll probably take Juan Soto. He's 24 years old. So I don't know how accurate that tweet is, man. I see what you're trying to say, but Juan Soto's a very good baseball player. He's a very good baseball player. Sometimes he doesn't look as aggressive as he needs to look when there's a runner in scoring position. I think that was the basic gist of your tweet. But again, I think, without him, our lineup is dead. We're done. I mean, the runs he's accounted for while either driving them in or scoring because he's on base all the time, it's immeasurable.
But let me make this point because we're about to get to our Padres wrap-up. If you didn't have someone behind Juan Soto who was aggressive with runners in scoring position, by the way, wasn't necessarily a great pitch, didn't make great contact on it, but it turned out to be the difference in that game. And you feel like Manny Machado is out there. He's hunting chances to give his team a lead, chances to drive in runs when he's up there. It feels different from Juan Soto. And it's not a crime to be a different ball player for Juan Soto.
It's definitely not.
Machado.
And I think the knock on Juan Soto, and not even the knock, the point you made earlier is just where do you play him? Where do you hit him? Where do you hit him in the lineup? Where is the optimal position for him to hit? Again, I do feel in my gut that it's probably the 2, and he's hit in the 2, and he's had great success in the 2 this year. He was in the 2-hole when he ripped off like 8 base hits in a row.
Yeah, he was,
and he's done a fine job everywhere he's hit. I think I don't want to get down on Juan Soto. I don't want to get down on the guy that's essentially leading the majority of offensive categories for the San Diego Padres, while I can also agree with you that sometimes he's more passive than I would like.
Yeah, I'm not trying to run him out of town on a rail here. That's not my point. But my dad brought it up a few weeks ago, just not a huge fan. And I started watching a little closer and seeing how Padres fans were reacting when I sent that tweet yesterday.
He's polarizing.
And I am looking at now, I'm scrolling pages and pages of comments where Padres fans are kind of nodding and go, yeah, it's frustrating to me to watch him. It's hard to invest $500 million in a guy that a good percentage of your fan base doesn't have a great feeling about, even though the numbers will tell you absolutely Juan Soto is a great baseball player. Is he the kind of player that you want anchoring your team for a decade plus at that kind of money? I just don't know. And if you're not sure about it, then you have to be thinking about trading him before he hits free agency, and you're not willing to invest that kind of money into Juan Soto into the future. We'll discuss this more, obviously, coming up. Got our Padres wrap-up, though, standing by. We'll get to the highlights. Bob Scanlon and Tony Gwynn Jr. with the call right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the premier auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Traffic is sponsored by Viejas Casino and Resort. Well, not too bad of a ride on our roads at this time, guys. We do have reports of a stalled vehicle on the westbound King Freeway, right around 30th Street. Looks like that is in the slow lane. Also, a little thing called Comic-Con in town today and on through the weekend. So you're going to find Harbor Drive closed in front of the Convention Center between First Avenue and Park Boulevard. So do keep that in mind if you normally travel that route. Traffic in San Diego may be stressful, so let Viejas Casino and Resort alleviate your anxiety. Take a dip in alluring relaxation. Rejuvenate in Willow Spa or win that life-changing jackpot. Your unmatched staycation experience is just 25 minutes from downtown. Viejas Casino and Resort. I'm Kelly Danik, Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Miss any of yesterday's Padres game?
Did you catch a game last night?
Well, we've got you covered.
Thank you.
It's the Padres Wrap-Up with Ben and Woods.
Go! It's our house right here, baby.
Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
That is the ball game, and that is a winner.
This about damn time.
The 1-1. Fly ball to center field, and it's going to land in for a base hit. A broken bat single. Grisham is going to score. Hassan Kim is going to score as the throw comes in. It is a 2-out, 2-run single by Manny Machado, and the Friars have a 2-0 lead. 2-2 pitch to Dalton Varsho. Swung on a missed. Strike 3. Got him. On the off speed. Sweeper. 7 strikeouts on the evening for you, Darvish. He records the 1-2-3 inning. Martinez's 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him. And Merrifield slams his bat down. Nick Martinez works out of the jam after giving up back-to-back singles to lead off the inning. Padres 1 strike away from locking down this 2-0 victory. The pitch swung on a miss. Strike 3. Got him. Josh Hader comes in and slams the door. Punches out George Springer, and the Padres win 2-0.
And Manny's on fire right now. And not only that, big hits too. So, all it took was one today with the pitching. So, he's been doing it for a period of time now. I mean, he's got 54 RBIs. It felt like he had maybe 35 2 weeks ago. And so, he has the ability to carry a team. And here recently he's been doing that.
Padres with a 2-0 victory over the Toronto Blue Jays yesterday, thanks to one well-placed, well-timed hit by the red-hot Manny Machado.
So when it's going good, man, it's going good. You break your bat, you get fisted. It always sounds weird to say. And you
not for most people, just because of you and your dirty mind over there. But for the rest of us, it's a very common baseball term. Fastball inside.
Yeah, you get fisted.
It's near the handle of your bat.
Fist it over the shortstop's head. The bat splinters everywhere, and you knock in 2 runs. Wasn't one of those runs Juan Soto?
I think he advanced to third on the play, but did not end up scoring. But he did. Now I had no problem with that walk. It was second and third after the
Fister. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, after Trent Grisham nearly ran him out of the nearly ran him out of the inning, getting picked off, but amazingly, it made it to third base thanks to a bad throw on the wrong side of third base and a great slide by Trent Grisham.
Who's the jumpiest base runners of all time. Ha-Seong Kim, 50 feet off the bag later in the game. They stepped off. They were about to pick him off too. It's making me nervous, man. Making me very, very nervous. But you're right. They had him dead to rights, and that would have been an excruciating way to get an out there. But hey, listen, finally it all worked out in the Padres' favor. You can tell they're trying to play more aggressive, and luckily they were able to come away with a hard-fought victory last night. Great job by the guys in the bullpen. Nick Martinez. I mean, that dude makes me nervous as hell. Nervous as hell. First 2 guys get on. Decent pitch to Bichette. Was way out in front, but he's a really good hitter. Out on his front foot and just hits it out to left, and Brandon Belt gets a knock, and you're like, oh my God, here we go. And to his credit, man, made some really, really good pitches.
Great relievers aren't going to get 1, 2, 3 innings every time.
Correct.
The mark of a great reliever, though, yeah, you're going to have those, but you also have to be able to work out of some jams. And, it's not like Nick Martinez gave up 2 scorchers, but he had 2 on, nobody out, and found a way to make his pitches and get out of that inning. And after 17 straight games in which the Padres bullpen allowed at least 1 run, and at least 2 in 14 of those, that is now 2 straight games that we've seen scoreless work from the Padres bullpen. 3 solid innings, getting the job done in relief of Yu Darvish, who now has 2 really good starts coming out of the All-Star break. That would be a huge lift for the San Diego Padres. If Yu Darvish can have, an all-star Yu Darvish type second half of the season after having a bit of a less than not a terrible first half, but not a quite, what we've come to expect from Yu Darvish first half of the season. And Blake Snell keeps it going and Joe Musgrove keeps it going. Padres will have a very formidable top 3 in their rotation, the kind that no team will look forward to seeing in a 3-game series. So, yeah, a lot of good things. Yesterday's game, honestly, there's not a ton to talk about, which is how a lot of baseball games should actually be. And it never seems to be the case with the Padres.
We have wished for some games like that this season.
It's great for us. We have games that we could probably talk for 8 hours about in this Padres season. But if every game is like that, kind of know something's been going wrong, because there should be a good percentage, a handful of games, maybe 30, 40% that, hey, you know what? Nothing big happened. Your team played solid. You got good pitching. There was no, giant mistakes to talk about. There wasn't a ton of this, wasn't a ton of that.
There absolutely could have been. You know what I mean? You just mentioned a couple of them. If Hassan Kim gets picked off or Trent Grisham gets picked off, yes, that is fodder for us. But really, danced around those kind of potential mistakes, and again, the bullpen danced around their potential mistakes and got out of it and won a close game, which is exactly what you said you wanted. You nailed that one again, and that made me very happy last night to see them win a game in that fashion. It really did.
Yeah,
confidence is building a little bit.
But the very few number of close games the Padres have won this year have, for the most part, have felt like hold your breath, hair on fire. What's about to drop the other shoe.
Even in the when it's 9-1, honestly, those games have gotten too close.
Yesterday's game didn't really feel like that. I wasn't always waiting for the bad thing about to happen. Even when Nick Martinez put a couple of runners on, I stayed fairly calm and just kind of let it unfold as the baseball game should. And I almost felt like, oh, this is like I used to watch baseball games before the last couple of years when everything felt so just the end of the world, is about to happen for the San Diego Padres. And I actually enjoyed last night's game quite a bit. And, when it finished it out, it was a 2-0 win. And now a chance to go for a series sweep this morning against the Blue Jays. Very nice.
Well, and you'll remember the last time the Padres faced Chris Bassett. Yeah. The playoffs against the Mets, and absolutely torched that young man. Would love to see that today. That's my key to victory today is go out and do exactly what you did to Chris Bassett the last time you saw him.
Yeah, I looked it up, because I had the same recollection. I think it was 4 innings, 3 runs.
That's fine. That's in the playoffs.
It's torched, but they got to him for sure.
They absolutely
they
got to him.
And he pitched twice against the Padres in the regular season. One time they lit him up early in the season, and then he had a decent outing against them as well. He's a good pitcher, but someone that the Padres have shown the ability to get to before. So I would like to see definitely would like to see some offense in this game. Ideally, if I'm going with my, what should happen and my gut prediction, Blake Snell continues to pitch the way he has. The Padres offense, which, for the most part has been very solid lately, gets to a guy they get to. There's no reason this shouldn't be a comfortable victory for the Padres to sweep the series today. I like their matchup, but I haven't looked at the odds, but my guess is the Padres would be favored in this game today, and they should take care of business and finish off the sweep, like a 7-1 type game, a 6-2 type game where you don't have a ton of drama. There's another part of me, though, that continues to just kind of creep up, something I'm worried about in today's game. I don't even want to necessarily speak it into existence, but I think it's my job. You want me to talk about it?
Yeah, turn off the mic. No, I don't think he cares about that.
We're good.
I think
Okay,
we're
you're good about
yeah,
that?
Yeah, we're good. I
Get
thought you
that out of
were
your
gonna,
mind.
I thought you were going to say the bullpen.
No.
But I think even with Nick Martinez threw 16 pitches last night, Josh Hader threw 16 pitches last night. If they have a chance to sweep today, I think you will see Josh Hader. Tom Cosgrove is fresh and rested. Steven Wilson only threw 11 pitches last night. So bullpen really did a good job last night of not only getting the outs they needed, but doing it economically. So I would imagine it's all hands on deck today for the San Diego Padres. And, again, go out and do what you can do against Chris Bassett. Knock that guy around, and you've shown the ability to get to their bullpen a little bit in this series as well. So really nothing is got me super nervous today. Want Blake to continue to roll like he has, and if he does, I feel like we're in really good shape for a sweep.
I would love that.
I would
and
too,
then
man.
you go to Detroit. Not going to be an easy series at the end of a 10-game road trip, but also not a team that is really, they're more than 10 games under 500. You should have the advantage there. And then you come home for a little revenge against the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have been in free fall mode. They were kind of in free fall mode when you went to Pittsburgh, and that didn't help you at all in that series. But Padres owe the Pirates big time from that recent trip to Pittsburgh. So, there's still an opportunity here to go on a bit of a run, make up some ground, and put yourself in a position where you could still, reasonably say, let's acquire a couple of pieces before the trade deadline and really try to make a run now in the last couple of months of the season. Made the first couple of steps here the last couple of days.
No
There's
doubt,
still several more steps to take to get there, but
where do we stand right now? What's our
6.5 back out of the last wild card?
Okay,
but only 8 out of the first wild
okay.
card. And while it doesn't matter which one you get, the more teams that are bunched up in front of you, the closer they are. Then you have more teams that, could lose, and you gain ground on every single day.
Sure.
Like yesterday, they're playing each other. You get some losses from teams, and you're almost guaranteed to make up some ground if you win a game, which will happen again today if the Padres can win.
Love it.
All right, we'll come back. We'll have some real or fake on a Throwback Thursday, chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas, and much more with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Sour of Ben and Woods brought to you by Cars.com. Whether you're looking for the perfect summer road trip car or something you can zip around in, visit Cars.com today. They have over 2 million cars for your 2 million summer possibilities. Head to Cars.com. Check out the possibilities. Cars.com. Where to next? At the risk of overloading you with good Padres news this morning, feels very weird, actually. There's a good chance that Robert Suarez is being activated as we speak to join that Padres bullpen. So you're just talking about the efficiency and how they should be fairly well set up for today. They may also be getting their primary setup man back for the first time all season after he was shut down in mid-March during spring training and has not pitched a single inning for the Padres this year. You could see Robert Suarez back on the mound for the San Diego Padres later this morning.
I would love to. Oh, hello. Oh,
there you go. We got
shut
you.
me
We
up.
got you.
I get it. I cropped you out of a picture. You don't have to turn my mic off for the rest of the work.
I'm just going to keep you really low.
I can't hear myself.
It's very quiet, Woods, today.
Yeah,
Half volume Woods, we call it.
he would be. He at his ability, with his. If he's feeling good and everything's flowing like it used to with Bob Suarez, which, hey, listen, it may take a couple outings, but we don't have a lot of time for a learning curve here. You know what I mean?
But with him, let's say he gets activated today. Let's say he gets in a 3-1 ball game.
Wouldn't you imagine that Bob would probably call on him ASAP?
100%, just like he did with Garcia, just like he does with any reliever that comes back.
Yeah.
You got to get him going.
You don't wait. You don't give him a low
struggle,
leverage for the first time out.
Maybe
you don't know when those are going to be there.
It could be a week.
If you need a guy, if you need him, you need him. The difference, though, is if he comes in and does struggle, puts a couple guys on, gives up a few runs.
Right.
I'm not going to be like, here we go again.
Right. No, you get a little bit of a breather.
The mentality's a lot different
because you just get back. But again, then you look at there's plenty of criticism to go around. But at the end of the day, if he's healthy and he's ready to pitch again in high leverage situations, that's what we need him for. That should really help the bullpen. All right, you got to make a call, Ben. Somebody goes from the bullpen. Who is it? It's Garcia, right? If you're activating Suarez today, I think Luis Garcia.
That's an interesting call.
It's Garcia or Honeywell, I would imagine, but probably Garcia.
I mean, has Alec Jacob in
3 innings,
2 appearances?
Yeah, 3 innings, 2 appearances,
2 and a third, I think.
Yeah.
Has he done enough to solidify a spot already in that bullpen?
Yeah, until he hasn't.
Yeah. I'd say he's done more than a couple other guys.
I'm pretty comfortable watching him throw. I mean, doesn't bring gas, but man, the deception is absolutely crazy. And he spots up, seemingly puts the ball wherever he wants to put the ball. I haven't seen a lot of hangers, mistakes, or anything from him. Now, give him time. He's a pitcher. It will happen at some point. But I'm not seeing you remember the guy we had here for a while, the Kaz Makita? Remember that dude? Is that his name? Yeah. Kaz Makita? I can't remember where he's from. It was Japan, I believe.
Yes.
And he was the side armor. He had the funky delivery.
Kazuhisa Makita.
Yeah, he threw 57 miles an hour. And after a while, they timed it up, and it was I don't know what
But the Padres didn't have him.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
They had Akinori Otsuka.
No, we had Kaz Makita too.
He was also on the Padres?
Yeah, and he was that one where you're like, ooh, this is gonna be fun. Like he throws that under hitting speed but man, after a while, it just starts to spin. So those kind of funky relievers, so far so good with Alec Jacob. He's been really effective, and it was really nice having him go those 2 innings the other night to cover in a game you knew you were, to get 6 outs to go.
The more video that gets out on the big league level on those guys, the learning curve is pretty quick for Major League Baseball batters.
It is, and it's why velocity remains kind of king right now. But I've seen from him enough to say, yeah, man, I don't know if I'm putting him in the 8th inning in a 1-run game, but he's certainly better than Luis Garcia. He throws strikes.
For me, I'd rather have Luis Garcia, who I know has had success in the big leagues, remain working with Ruben Niebla and the major league staff, and I'd send Honeywell down. I don't trust Honeywell with anything right now other than mop up. And you can have Luis Garcia going in and working. If you're in mop up, you could have Garcia going in. At least I know he's going to throw 96.
Faster, 98.
Yeah, 98 when he's in there. So I'd probably send Honeywell down if that's the move. We'll see. We'll see when we get the lineup and any roster moves coming up here probably pretty shortly, considering we're just 3 hours away from game time in the series finale in Toronto. If you'd like to be our contestant for Real or Fake, you don't know musical trivia, but you still are interested in winning a monthly grand prize trip to Las Vegas. Thursday's your day. It's our Throwback Thursday, so we play a throwback game of real or fake, and we'll do that coming up in a couple of minutes. Call us now, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I would like to congratulate Taylor Colway on getting his first Major League Baseball knock in his first game ever yesterday. Got the start in right field, bumping Fernando Tatis Jr. to designated hitter to rest that ankle just a little bit, and I think it was his third at-bat. He grounded one up the middle, hit off the glove of Bo Bichette, was it? And then made it to first base for an infield single. Not how I'd probably draw up my first major league hit, like wait for a scorer's ruling. I mean, it was definitely a hit, especially by the modern standards of what scoring looks like.
It's a knock.
But I'd probably want something a little more clean looking, if I'm going to complain. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying,
if you're up there and you're soiling yourself in your first game, and the first guy,
you just want to get it over.
First guy K'd you up 95 down the middle. You were a little bit behind it. I think what did he do in second back? He ground out.
Made some contact. Yeah.
And that third one, you see it up the middle. You hit it hard. Put barrel on it. Merrifield bobbles it a little bit. You take that. We would all want the majestic soaring home run,
walk-off grand slam for my first Major League Baseball.
Well, you were in here a couple years ago saying, I do want the Padres to get a no-hitter. It needs to be against the Dodgers. It needs to be for a playoff spot. And you were plenty happy with No Joe in Texas that night. You were plenty happy.
I was satisfied with it.
You were
that's
very,
for sure.
very
I still had some complaints.
It wasn't still to this day.
Wasn't a full crowd. It was on the road. I mean, there were things I could change about that for sure.
The fact that it happened in 2021 and the way the game has changed, just the fact that it was done by one pitcher for the Padres and not a combined no-hitter for the first one.
Yeah.
I thought for sure that's how it was going to go.
There's no doubt.
And I would have felt dirty about it for the first one.
Like, it's like winning a short season World Series.
It's like Matt Kemp getting the first cycle. You're like,
I know that sucked. But I mean, you couldn't, if you were going to storybook the no-hitter, that's it. That's the one.
Couldn't have been better. I guess a perfect game. Could have been better.
It was incredible. Incredible.
All right, looks like we got some callers on the line. Let's get to it. Let's play a little real or fake.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods. You can go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
Don't forget, first of all, on Thursdays, Real or Fake is brought to you by Home Turf. Save time and water with pet-friendly, always green grass, and get a free consultation by calling the team at Home Turf at 8884-SD-TURF or go to sdhometurf.com.
Let me tell you about this show. I got a text from my man Eric that works at Home Turf. He said, happy birthday, buddy.
That's nice.
Isn't that nice? Yeah. That's customer service all the way.
So that was a real birthday wish.
That was a real birthday wish.
Fake.
He also, this morning at 6:49, texted Pfister. Barely know her.
So there you go. Yeah. All right, let's welcome Dave to our hotline for contestants this morning. Hello, Dave.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. All right, here's your opportunity to qualify for our grand prize drawing. 2-night stay at the Westgate, Las Vegas. 2 tickets to Skid Row and Warrant on September 30th at the International Theater. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Check out the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino with newly designed premier rooms, part of their $70 million room renovations, home of legendary Vegas fun. All right, so real or fake? We've kind of had a theme all week. Canada Week.
Yeah,
we have the Daily Ditty was our Canadian bands. The Padres are in Canada, so I decided to keep it Canadian today on Real or Fake, Dave. The CFL is our topic on Real or Fake. Do you remember that for 3 years during the mid-90s, there were actually a handful of American-based Canadian Football League teams? Today on Real or Fake, I'll give you a city and a nickname, Dave. You need to tell me if they were a real CFL team in the United States or a fake I have made up for our game. And you can ask Woods for help. I don't know how much help he's going to be on this one.
For example, like in Major League Baseball, most, but not all, most teams are in America. We also have the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yes.
We're doing the opposite for the CFL.
Doing the opposite.
Most teams are in Canada, but there were United States.
Yeah, this
teams.
is like the Montreal Expos, teams that used to exist in a different country but no longer exist anymore. Dave, you understand how it works?
No, he doesn't. I don't think anyone does.
I absolutely understand.
He absolutely
Woody,
understands.
happy birthday.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. My eyes have glazed over with that.
The object is to get 4 out of 7 right, and you will win. Dave, round 1, real or fake Canadian football team of the 90s. The Birmingham Barracudas. Real or fake, Dave?
Oof, I'm going to go fake.
That one is real. They love putting like these alternative football teams in Birmingham, Alabama for some reason. They might have more failed UFL, XFL, Canadian Football League teams than any other city in America.
That has to be a Crimson Tide effect, right?
I guess so.
They think because of Alabama.
So many football fans in Alabama. Let's put a pro team there and see how they're going to support them. Not at all, apparently. All right, 0 for 1. That's okay. We're early in this game. Let's go round 2. Dave, the Sacramento Gold Miners. Real or fake?
I would say fake on that one.
Yeah, I would too.
Oh, no.
That is also a real Canadian Football League team. It's all right. We're not
a real former
team, yes, from the 1990s. All right, 0 for 2. Come on, Dave. Here we go. The Memphis Mad Dogs. Real or fake, Dave? Come on.
Woods.
I have no earthly idea. I still don't even know how it's played, so I'm going to say real.
He's going to say real. Dave, what do you think?
Hey, why not?
Real. It is right.
Oh,
yes, Woods. You're channeling. Well, all right. That's
that
one.
Memphis Mad Dogs team was a part of the CFL.
Yes. Okay. All right. You're correct. You're understanding the game. Hey, you've been the only one to get one right so far. All right. Round number 4. The Fargo Gray Wolves. Real or fake, Dave?
The Fargo Gray Wolves.
Fargo.
Woods, I'm thinking fake.
I'm thinking fake, too. Funny looking.
Let's do it.
All right. Fake it is. Give him a ding. Yeah. I thought that was the most real sounding of all the ones that I have here.
I just picture Fargo as a town of like 75
six
people. Yeah.
All right, that's
Close to
2.
Canada.
You have evened up the score. You need 2 out of these last 3, and you will be a winner, Dave. Let's go with the Columbus Cappers. Real or fake, Dave?
Columbus Cappers. Thinking fake. What do you say, Woods?
I agree with you.
You agree? Ding! All right, that's correct. That is fake, and we are now 1 away from the win.
How many chances left do we have?
2 chances left. Round 6. Here we go. Real or fake Canadian Football League team of the 90s? The Las Vegas Posse. Real or fake, Dave? I said posse.
I know you said.
I understood. I'm going to say fake. Woods, what do you think? It's a tough one.
It is a tough one. I'm going to say fake as well.
Paulie?
Let's do it.
No, it is real.
Once again.
Oh, man, and we are down to the last chance here.
My favorite
Round 7.
character in The Sopranos was Big Posse.
90% of the time, for some reason, this game goes to round 7. All of the money on the line and the drawing for the grand prize. The Shreveport Pirates, real or fake Canadian Football League team, Dave?
It sounds real.
It does.
What do you think, Woods?
It does.
All right, let's blow out this birthday cake. Let's go for
Let's do it.
I don't know what that means.
What does it mean? Give me an answer. Dave, congratulations. Hang on the line. Paulie will get all your information. And real or fake? That was a stressful one.
It really was. Oh, it started, dropped the first 2 games.
Yeah, had to come back and win 4 out of the last 5.
Death, taxes, and real or fake going to 7 rounds. Good God.
CFL. Man.
We got a lineup.
Oh, let's go.
All right. Let's tease it. We also have Don't Do This coming up next.
Yeah, I've got a update on the Northwestern situation. And,
all is fine now?
All is not fine.
All right.
Apparently, this has been a thing at Northwestern for a long, long time.
I've got to choose from like 4. You're going to have to help me because I got to choose from like 4 different
I'll help you.
Options for Don't Do This when we come back. And a Padres lineup after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't do this.
I got a little surprise for you, you know what I'm saying?
Don't do this.
Listen, if I've said something bad, tell me I'm a bad boy. Just tell me I'm a bad boy.
Why? Just why?
I get the argument. You don't have to explain it to me. I'm not a moron.
Let me tell you why I am a dumbass.
It's time for Don't Do This.
Don't do this.
On 97.3 The Fan.
Before we get to Don't Do This, we do have a lineup in for the Padres game coming up at 10:07, 9:07 pregame show early here with Sammy Levitt. Little different looking in the series finale. Day game after the night game against the right-hander Chris Bassett of the Blue Jays. Ha-Seong Kim is not in the starting lineup today.
No day off action?
Gets a day off.
Okay, coming off the bench, I'm sure.
Fernando Tatis Jr. rises up to the leadoff slot in right field, back out in the field after he took a day off of his feet on that little twisted ankle that he's got. But he'll be back out there today. Juan Soto, after all our discussion, and we're going to bring back that conversation and let fans talk about Juan Soto in our next segment. He will bat second today and play left field. Manny Machado hitting third base. Andrew Bogarts cleaning up at shortstop. Jake Cronenworth slides over to second base today with Ha-Seong Kim not in the lineup. He'll bat fifth. Gary Sanchez returns to the catching position, batting sixth. Matt Carpenter, who's looked just a hair better, not that it would be hard because he looked so bad for a while, but he's looked a hair better at the plate. He'll be the DH batting seventh. Trent Grisham is in center field batting eighth, and starting at first base today for the first time since his call-up earlier this week, Alfonso Rivas batting ninth with Blake Snell on the mound.
Okay. You starting or am I starting?
Why don't you start on this one and don't do this?
So we all know the story of the Northwestern hazing situation cost Pat Fitzgerald his job, the head coach. Well, it's now come out. There's a long article in the Athletic about it. I'm not going to bore you with all of the details, but apparently this has been going on, Ben, at Northwestern for a long time. And now a lot of former players are starting to speak up. And it all went down to when Pat Fitzgerald was actually a player there. And I can give you some of the highlights or lowlights, as it were. They had a lot of naked linemen in there doing the cartwheels. They would also, the linemen would cover their bodies in soap, nude, and stand in a doorway to block the shower. And you'd have to run through them like a car wash, right? Like, hey, you want to get in the shower, we're blocking it, but we're all lubed up, so you'll slide right through. Just make sure you run right through the car wash. They also used to do this thing called the flying squirrel, which a naked player would pull apart. Never mind.
Yeah, you're good.
He would. It's on the.
You're good.
And that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't actually, and don't really want to know. So thank you.
I'll show you at the break.
Please don't.
What it is.
Can we call HR in before the break, Polly? Can we get them here quickly?
And essentially, this
have an emergency response.
These things have been going on there for a very, very long time. And it was basically, one guy summed it up very well. It's fat guys doing weirdo fat guy S. is what he said.
Yuck.
Sounds like a radio show.
Sure does.
This was
just two of us now.
This was
Skinny
weird.
minis here.
And I don't know who approved this or how it ended up on the scoreboard at Coors Field yesterday.
Is this real? Is this real?
I mean, it made the big lead too. We saw it going viral. I thought this has got to be fake.
I thought it was
we saw it for the first
somebody
time.
superimposed.
Photoshop's got to be Photoshop, but apparently yesterday during the Rockies game against the Houston Astros, put up a message on the scoreboard. It was under game notes.
Yes.
This is not at all a game note, though. I mean, it's more like a
game notes. Robert Suarez has been activated off
from
the
IL.
list.
Correct.
Sometimes
Absolutely.
What has he been or not yet?
No,
Okay,
that's an example.
that is again example of a game note. Sometimes you will see shout outs on the scoreboard, like, "Hey, happy 50th anniversary to Bob and Maria who are here. Happy 30th birthday to
Happy
Kimberly.
48th
birthday to Woods."
It's a dedication.
That
Happy
could be, yes.
graduation, Paul. We love you.
Just as
Mom
an
and
aside,
Dad.
the Rockies are never wishing me a happy
No,
birthday.
they're not.
We know that.
No.
But this game note reads as follows. Using a stethoscope to listen to the heart, cardiologists can detect narrow valves, valve leakage, and or a normal rhythm. It's more of like a Grey's Anatomy medical reference note, but it continues. Don't bother asking him to check your heart, though, Becky. That crushed Titanic sub has more life inside it than the collapsed troll cave you call a chest cavity. That's the game note.
So that is from a jilted man.
It sounds like it. Becky, like he is saying, Becky, you are heartless, and this is how I'm putting it up on the scoreboard at Coors Field. Now, could this be like an employee of the Rockies who has done this? Because they're going to get fired if it was. I mean, you can't do that at a Major League Baseball game.
Don't bother asking him to check your heart, though, Becky. That crushed Titanic sub
By the way,
too
soon to be making jokes like that on a scoreboard about a recent tragedy.
So that's the game notes section. That comes from the PR staff.
Somebody's got to input that.
That is an employee. That's not the dedication, like birthday wishes, graduation, whatever.
Because you can do...
You can pay however much it costs to
get
your
a shout out on
That's
there.
not what
That's not what that is. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. That crushed Titanic sub
I need to know how long it was up.
has more life inside it than that collapsed troll cave you call a chest cavity.
Unbelievable.
Do we have a do this?
You know what? I do have a do this. Would you like me to do this for you today?
Mega do-do.
I think it's kind of a cool story. So the Women's World Cup got underway last night, and as is traditional, the host country gets to go first. And New Zealand, who is not favored to win anything, they've never won a game in any of their 5 World Cup appearances in the past, as the host country opened up with a giant upset, beating Norway 1-0 in the very first game. What a cool story. You get to host the World Cup, and then in your first game, you come up with like the biggest win in your country's soccer history, upsetting a fairly well-respected, I believe, international women's soccer team from Norway in the very first game.
Apparently, there has been an update.
They won the tournament in 1995.
Who did?
Norway, yes.
Fantastic.
What do we have an update on?
On the
Becky?
scoreboard.
Becky.
This, somebody named Ephus Tosser tweeted yesterday, this is the best running bit in baseball that nobody knows about. So this is a bit, in fact. Game notes. This is one from a while back. Moving at a normal pace, it would take 125 hours to walk 500 miles and another 125 hours to walk 500 more. Baby, I love you, but I'll just go ahead and hop that Southwest flight to Calgary, XOXO. Repeatedly asking someone to come see about me. Take your own advice. Asking for attention is exponentially less effective than earning it. Invest in you. Take a walk. Read a book. Spend time in thought. Find out who you are and water the roots. Be confident. Be yourself. The right people will take notice, and those who don't, they're lost. They do these messages, these inspirational messages.
All right, if that's the case, then it's part of a bit. Fine, but I still think using the crushed Titanic sub as a reference in there is still a don't do this. Even if it's part of it. We love bits.
I love bits.
You definitely love bits.
We're working on a new bit right now. It's making Ben very uncomfortable.
Of course.
Very.
But to use that as a reference on your scoreboard, to me, seems like you're going a little too far, even in service of the bit.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. All right, that's don't and do this for a Thursday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Apparently you are a louder minority, or maybe even an unexpected majority out there, Padres fans who are just not all that sold on Juan Soto. I don't want to say they're Juan Soto haters, but they're certainly not.
I've seen plenty.
They're not big fans of Juan Soto. And I would like to hear from Padres fans right now about how you think about the Padres left fielder and whether or not you would like to see the Padres sign him to an extension. And if not, how seriously do you have to consider trading him either now or in the offseason before he walks away for nothing in free agency? A lot of fans just saying it's just a frustrating watch. They were nodding in agreement when I sent out a tweet. I was stunned. I mean, we're in the hundreds of comments now, and they're mostly running about 9-1 against Juan Soto. Now, there are some Soto defenders out there as well. And if you are a fan and you think, hey, we'd be crazy to let this guy go, generational talent, the numbers back up the fact that he's a great player, I would love to hear from you as well, because you've got a really good argument. So give us a call, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We'll do that when we come back with Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan. We know almost all the Padres have struggled with runners in scoring position this season. So why is it that Juan Soto seems to take the brunt of it from fans?
I don't know.
Because the numbers don't really support it, yet visually, even I can't deny that it's sometimes frustrating to see Juan Soto at the plate with runners at scoring position.
Are we being too critical of a generational talent here? I understand we're talking about this is all in the realm of, do we want to potentially give him a absurdly large extension of a contract, right?
Yes, that's a big part of it.
That's a huge part of it.
That is a big part of it. We'll go through the numbers. Our phone lines are absolutely jammed.
Is he worth the big money?
With people who want to talk about Juan Soto.
Is that the right question to ask today? Is he worth what he turned down? Is that the right question to ask? Does it matter right now? Because
honestly, it doesn't.
What he's earning today, he's a commensurate ball player with what he's earning today, right?
It may matter for him emotionally.
Sure.
He doesn't want to sign for less than he turned down, but ultimately he could have been offered $1 billion or he could have been offered minimum wage. He's worth what he's worth, and the Padres need to evaluate that and make an offer or don't make an offer based on what they think he's worth to them over the next 10 years, if that's what's going to be the deal. But we'll talk about it. Look at these phone lines. I don't know if everyone's calling because they want to defend Juan Soto or if they want to criticize Juan Soto, though. We'll find out right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Got a few problems in the North County, southbound side of the 15, just past Felicita. Someone's changing a tire in the center divide. So if you're traveling that route, please move over a lane if it's safe to do so. Let's keep that person safe out there. Further down, just past Auto Park Way, there is a collision. Looks like this may have the HOV lane blocked, motorcycle involved. And the Ladder and Lane Awards goes to South 5 Coastline right before Cannon. Watch out for it. It's in the slow lane. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's start with the discussion about the numbers, what they actually say about Juan Soto, especially with runners in scoring position. The big four, as it were, for the Padres, Machado, Bogarts, Soto, and Tatis, they've all had around 100 plate appearances this season. Tatis a few less because he missed the first 20 games. But here are the OPSs of those four guys. And I'll see if you can figure it out here. All right, we've got 751, 784, 815, and 970. Those are the four OPSs of the Padres core four guys with runners in scoring position this season. 751, 784, 815, 970.
970 Soto, 815 Tatis, 751 Xander, 754 Manny.
784 Manny. Yeah,
784 Manny.
Nailed it. 4 for 4. Very good.
Thank
You've
you.
been paying attention to Padres baseball. Is there something
I would hope so.
Is there something that stands out to you? There's a huge jump from 3 up to Juan Soto, who has been by far the most productive guy in those situations. So why is it that we all feel like he's up there not being as productive as you'd like? Now,
you know what? It's a very simple psychological answer. It really is. The three guys you listed are here for life.
I think
they are. They're here for life. And the memory with them is the rope, as it were, is longer.
I think it's because of this reason. Fernando Tatis has walked 7% of the time in those situations. Manny has walked 9%. Xander's walked 14%. Juan Soto has walked 23.6% of the time in those situations.
Yeah.
Nearly a quarter of the time he comes up with a chance to drive runners in, he ends up taking a walk. And
helps control.
And while that is why his OPS is so high, it also infuriates some Padres fans to see it happen.
Yeah.
That a quarter of the time when you got a chance to maybe change the game, you take a walk. Now, there's different kinds of walks. If a pitcher is pitching around you and you don't get anything to hit,
which he gets a lot of that.
You don't want to be swinging at bad pitches.
A lot of that.
But there are certain times when Juan Soto, he works an 8-pitch at bat, and he will take a couple of strikes that look like they're hittable and ends up getting that walk at the end. Like he grinds out the walk at the end of that at bat. That normally goes down. That's a success. That increases his OPS. It increases his OPP. It's good for his numbers, But is it good for the San Diego Padres in that situation?
He doesn't chase.
If you got like runners at first and third and two outs, and he's up there
He's the best.
and he grinds out that walk to load the bases for someone who doesn't get a hit behind him. Did he help the team in that situation?
I got to tell you, man. I mean, again, I've kind of made the joke all season. Juan Soto is a 3 true outcome player, but his 3 true outcomes are different than the typical walk, strikeout, hit,
home run.
Yeah. His are weak ground out to first, walk, or barrel.
Yeah,
that's it. I feel like he rolls over more than Eric Hosmer ever did. I know that's probably not the case, but that's what I feel like. That's what I'm looking for Juan Soto. Doesn't K a ton, doesn't chase a ton. I mean, when he hits it, tops in the league, 96%, average exit velo, at max exit velo, 97, barrel 84. The dude is a stud. He's a stud. Expected slugging 84, walk rate, highest
slugging
in
percentage
baseball.
there too. I mean,
chase rate's elite. He's an elite player. Why is everyone's memory so short with Juan Soto? It's because he's not slugging like he used to. And in 2019, his slug was higher. In 2020, his slug was higher. He's not slugging like he used to. He still slugs, though. Still slugs. Absolutely still slugs.
And a better slugging percentage with runners in scoring position
than anybody else.
Guys either. Let's go to the phone lines, 833-288-0973. I'm fascinated to see whether Padres fans are going to defend Juan Soto or if they're frustrated by him. Let's go from the bottom. Let's go to Kevin first up here on 97.3 The Fan. Kevin, welcome to the show this morning.
Thank you. Glad to be on. This, the other part of this equation is that those walks, that's not a $300 million player, is somebody who walks like that. Okay, you're not paying somebody to do that. You're paying somebody to hit line drives, hit the gaps, drive people in. That's what he's going to be paid for. So my thought is, there's no way they sign him this year. They've got to wait and hold. Just wait and see how this year plays out. They're not going to, they're not going to owe him anything substantial yet. They don't have to worry about all the finances. See how this plays out. See if he brings something late to the table that they can use.
He could get,
but
more
you're not
expensive.
paying a $300 million walker. I'm sorry.
He could get more expensive.
Well, he could, but here's the other thing, and I said this earlier on the John Contreras show a couple of months ago. He also could be lessening his value. What if we've seen maybe some of the best? We don't know yet. That's why we have to wait. He could falter.
Kevin,
it's like anything else.
If he was 28 years old, 29 years old, I'd say it's a no-brainer. Yeah, let's squeeze what we can this year, squeeze what we can next year. That kid is 24 years old and has put up some of the most elite numbers that in baseball. And again, in a down year for him. Still got 17 bombs, got 54 stakes. He's got 55 runs scored, walked more than anybody else. His average is 264. His OBP is 419. His slugging is 488. Combining that for an OPS of 907 in a down year. I
think we have to ask ourselves as fans, are you a fan of Juan Soto?
Do
you want Juan Soto long-term? Because
right.
if you do, you should be in favor of exploring a contract extension now.
Correct.
While he's not down, but certainly not as high as he could be.
I think
he's only going to get more expensive.
And the other thing too is, I think he's going to get better.
I think
he's going to get better.
Like if I'm Juan Soto, I don't really want to sign anything right now because I believe in myself.
I'm not going to be terrified if I'm Juan Soto.
I'm taking it as a bargain right now.
He trusts himself. He also is in the lineup every single day. And we give a lot of players credit for that. And again, the memory with fans and Juan Soto is so stinking short. Literally the night before last, Ben, 2-run homer to get the Pods on the board, RBI double, scored 3 runs. I mean, we're talking 36 hours ago. And then after last night, everyone's like, this sucks. This guy's terrible.
Is it weird that you can both acknowledge the numbers and say, I know that brings value, but me personally, not a fan of his.
Yes, you can say absolutely. You can absolutely say that. Are his ABs? I don't like anybody that isn't looking to drive in a run. Now, again, they're not sitting on the precipice of a massive multi-year, $30 million contract per year. That's not it.
But
I get mad when Crony does it. I get mad when Manny does it.
But I also guarantee that fans don't like a guy who's going up there and trying so hard to drive in runs that he's swinging at sliders that are 4 feet out of the zone.
Manny Machado early in the season.
All the time.
Manny Machado early in the season.
That's not fun for fans either. So are we holding them to impossible standards here?
I believe so.
Let's try Ron. You're next up on Ben and Woods. Good morning, Ron.
Morning, fellas. How you doing?
Good, bud. How are you?
Here's the thing, guys. I don't think any of us have a problem with Juan Soto. I think it's his defense. I think the guy
pretty rough.
I think the guy circles his. He's a horrible outfielder. I've seen the freaking kids in the home run derby catch fly balls better than Juan Soto does. I honestly, guys, I think he's working his way into being a designated hitter only.
Like a big poppy at 25 years old already.
Yeah, he doesn't have a ton of speed, so he's not going to have great range in the outfield or base stealing speed. I saw some people on Twitter talk about how, hey, it was great when guys like Ricky Henderson and Tim Raines drew walks because it's probably going to turn into a double or a triple. It's not going to be the case with Juan Soto. He's on, but he's not adding value once he gets to the base paths as well with those walks.
And by the way, his defensive numbers about average. I mean, his outs above average are
and this
down.
is recency bias as well, because 2 weeks ago I said I actually think he's better in left than he was in right. With the
he was
Padres.
really bad in right.
He's had a couple of bad weeks.
You're talking about his Gold Glove nominee, right?
No, not really. But
they're average. His numbers he's an average
he would
left
be
fielder.
a great designated hitter, and you could put a better defensive outfielder, and that might make the Padres better. But a guy who's he doesn't want to be a designated hitter because he knows that his value is less as a guy who doesn't play in the field. So he wants to be out there.
It's like you said. You said it earlier, and you nailed it. It's just hard to put him in a box. It's pretty easy to put other players in boxes. He's not a guy you can really. I swear to God, if he could run a little bit, he's an ideal leadoff hitter. I mean, he can hit the ball out of the yard. Look at Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts hits leadoff. 26 home runs right now, 27 home runs for the Dodgers. Yeah, Juan's behind that mark.
Aaron Judge hit leadoff.
For
the Yankees a lot of last season.
Aaron Judge is fast. He is a smart base runner. He's heady. Juan Soto gets a little squirrely out there on the base paths. And at the end of the day, though, you're right. I mean, a guy with that eye, he's obviously going to be in the top 3 year lineup. You don't want him anywhere else. You don't want him in the cleanup spot in case somebody gets on working. You want somebody to drive in runs there. But for him, man, I again think the ideal spot for Juan Soto is probably the 2, and he's just not as comfortable there as he is in the 3. But if you're hitting in the 3 hole, in my opinion, in baseball these days, you're there to try to drive in runs, and he has done that. It's not like he hasn't driven in runs. He has.
All right, that's 2 for 2 on anti kind of Juan Soto, or at least wait and see Juan Soto. Let's try Brandon. You are next up with Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. What's your take here, Brandon?
I'll try to balance everybody out. I just remember the day that Soto was acquired as my son, and we've been on pins and needles for days, wondering if this was going to happen. And I remember it was actually a Dodgers fan that told me, "Did you check your phone?" And we're like, "What?" It's just that excitement knowing that the Padres made a move like that, knowing that we've got him for 2 years to have that kind of grace period where we don't need to give him money.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think getting on base is really important. You saw yesterday, I think the only runs that we scored in the game was when Manny got that single with the bases loaded. And what happened before that? Soto worked a walk, and I know that he had gotten 3 walks in the game, and he was working that 4th one, and he basically earned a 4th walk yesterday. Then they called him out on strike 3 that was a little too high. But the 5th at bat, he also got called out on another strike 3 that was in the strike zone.
Yep.
And I remember specifically telling my son when we were watching it, I was like, God, he was looking for a walk right there.
Yeah,
he wasn't
pull the
looking
trigger. Yep.
to try to hit. And we had a 2-0 lead, and I was like, our bullpen really – in close games like that, it's been really, really hairy recently.
Gotta add.
I'm like, you gotta at least try to get that 3rd run in, or possibly you rip a double there, you score 2 runs, and it's like I just was frustrating to me to see, like, man, he was still trying. Like yesterday's game, he was trying to get on base, and I understand that. I know why you want to do that, but it didn't look like he was wanting to hit it. You know what I mean? He was like trying to, and that was just frustrating to me. But I don't think that that's a reason enough for me to be like a Juan Soto hater, because I love his charismatic, what he brings to the team, his he's just got an aura about him that I think having him on our team benefits us. And you can't argue with the numbers. Come on, you guys. Like,
There's
really,
no question.
If you don't like the fact that he's working it, and he's hitting the ball well, he'll go on little, parts where he's not, as dominant as he could be. But that's because we're also comparing it to what he was doing in Washington.
Yep. Listen,
but that's where everyone talked about him being a generational player, a $500 million player, and he's not putting up those numbers.
Great point here by Christopher. That's the philosophy of the team when it's applied to a guy that knows the zone as well as Juan Soto. This is what you get. That said, he's still tied for the team lead in RBI and runs scored. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All guests on Meadow Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Eno Sarris in our 8 o'clock hour. We can continue this discussion. And Paulie with a Throwback Thursday. Woodsy's Day at the Races coming up next on The Fan.
All right, we're 2/3 of the way home here on Ben and Woods this morning. Got about an hour and 7 minutes left before we will go home and enjoy some Padres baseball. You can listen to it right here on 97.3 The Fan. Sammy Levitt, the GOAT, will be in here to do Padres pregame. And, it's a great day to go out and get a sweep today. Certainly. I hope Juan Soto hits 4 jacks today off Chris Bassett and the like. Listen,
we then have a segment tomorrow about him not hitting 4 home runs.
I just said 4 jacks.
5.
5
home
home
runs.
runs.
Jacks, right.
Yeah,
it's tough, man. It's a fickle business. Fans are very fickle.
Let me rephrase this a little bit. If you're going to be get 400 million, 500 million generational money, shouldn't you do everything well?
Stop.
No, I mean,
we don't.
The answer is no.
He has a year and a half before anybody owes him an extra.
Manny Machado doesn't steal 30 bases a year.
Do everything well.
Right. He doesn't steal 30 bags.
Goes in slumps. We saw a huge one at the start of the season.
Imagine, so remember.
Xander Bogaerts got 285 million. He doesn't do everything well.
Correct.
He has flaws in his game. Even Fernando Tatis Jr. I mean, occasionally has some flaws. We'll chase some pitches.
He's as 5 tool as we have.
He's as great as you're gonna see.
He's as 5 tool as we got here. I mean, he's definition. He's 5 tool. He's got it all. He can do it all.
But no one can do everything.
He can.
You can't both be like an aggressive hitter and a patient hitter at the same time.
Selective aggressive is a baseball term.
I guess so.
I never understood what it meant.
I want this guy.
I think I know now.
What's he selective aggressive?
Sounds good. I want this guy ready to crush the first pitch and also lead the league in pitches taken and work opposing pitchers. Well, you can't always have
you not realized doing this for baseball fans are stupid, ourselves included. Everyone's a moron. It is, what did you do for me in this last at bat?
Blake Snell gets some of it the other way. He needs to be way more efficient while striking everybody out.
Right. It's very hard to do.
You're going to strike out 14 guys, but only do it on 55 pitches.
So he can go 9 innings every time.
He's not going to go heater, 9 pitches, immaculate innings every single time, swing and miss, doesn't have to mix it up, doesn't have to bounce one, doesn't have to go above the zone, doesn't have to go in, out. It's not going to happen. So you got to look at what these guys do well. And if you feel like they're valuable to your team, then you pay them. Juan Soto is massively valuable. His value is through the roof. But we don't have to give him 1 red cent over what he's earned, Ben, for another year and a half. A year and a half we got. It's a tryout. It's an audition. And I understand that max value and all that. But listen, the major max value is you go win a World Series with a guy with a 950 slug and an OBP of 450, you can win a World Series with that guy this year, next year, whatever it may be. You don't trade Juan Soto for prospects at the deadline this year, and I don't think you trade him in the offseason because who do you get to replace him in left field that's going to be better than Juan Soto? I'm not talking about defense. I'm talking about overall top of the lineup type guy. Who replaces Juan Soto?
They don't exist.
They don't exist. They're not out there. They're not there. So you have him. Let's enjoy him. Let's ride him till the end, man, like a pony. He is extremely valuable to this team. And I know walks aren't sexy. I know it. I love seeing a guy knocking in runs, but he's done that. He's driven in runs.
By the way, who's hit the ball harder more than any other Padre this season?
Juan Soto.
Juan Soto has.
Yeah. I mean, so it's not like and by the way, do we forget the rough start he got off to this season and what he's been, these numbers that he's pulled up. Now, they weren't just a slow, steady build. The dude was in the chamber early in the season and it sucked, right? It was terrible. Xander was the only one on this team hitting. Well, then Juan started to get hot. What happened? Xander goes away. Manny hasn't come on until the last few weeks. What do Juan Soto's numbers look like if he had just an average start to the season and his teammates around him were hitting as well? Why would anyone have thrown Juan Soto 1 single strike when Manny was scuffling? Like, don't pitch to Juan Soto early in the season. He wasn't getting anything to hit at all. So it's all circular. It's way deeper than just saying, he walks too much or he's not aggressive enough. He may not be aggressive enough, but that guy knows the strike zone better than anyone in baseball. So I tend to kind of lean back with Juan and say, do your thing, man. Do your thing. When you get one, great. When, if you're getting on base 4 times, I can't be mad at that. It's a dream to have guys on base. So I think we all need to take a pause, a deep breath. No one's got to lay out anything for him yet. You got a year and a half to decide, right?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Juan. Have a great
One more
day.
thing to remember about this. When he walks and you go, man, I wish he would have swung the bat. The most likely outcome for any baseball player when they go up to home plate is what? To make an out.
Yes.
No one in history has had an OBP, I believe, over 500. Maybe Barry Bonds did it one season when he got all those intentional walks. But the history of baseball tells you the most likely thing to happen when you go up is you make an out. And when Juan Soto walks, what doesn't he do? He doesn't make an out. That is incredibly valuable, yet we sometimes dismiss it and devalue it, I think, just because it feels frustrating at the time because that's not what we wanted to happen, but that's what ended up happening, and that's still pretty valuable. All right, before we go back out to these phone lines, Throwback Thursday, we always like to take it back.
Barry did it. Barry had a 609.
Did he? For a whole
OBP
season?
in 2004.
Oh, my God.
Then he had a 582 in 02. Yeah. Ted Williams, 553 in 1941.
All right. 3 players, in the history of baseball have gotten on more than they've not. But by far, the most likely outcome for everybody is to make an out when you go up to home plate.
Pretty incredible.
So we go way back for this one. We always like to turn back the clock on Throwback Thursdays.
One of the earliest clips we still have in the archive.
And I'll be honest. I grew up around horse racing. My grandfather was very tight with the jockeys. He was their doctor. He went to the track every single day, like all year long. Down here in Del Mar, Santa Anita, up in LA, he was always there. So I was around
the story
it a lot.
where he would pick you up
in the rolls, yeah, with the chauffeur.
How old were you?
6 to 8, any age. It's good. He couldn't drive. He had crutches, so he needed a driver. So I've always liked going to the races.
Yeah, who wouldn't like going to the races in a Rolls
Sitting
Royce?
in the box, in the box there. It was fun. Wood's not quite as big of a fan of horse racing. Didn't have the same experience growing up as I did.
No, I didn't.
Who did?
And one of our first like remotes, old station, out and about doing a show for opening day at Del Mar, which is tomorrow here in San Diego again, where the turf meets the surf.
God, Comic-Con opening day. Good Lord.
Yeah.
And we're sitting right there in the paddock, like on the balcony overlooking where they, bring out the horses and in a circle and the jockeys mount up before they go out onto the track. And we're sitting there.
This clip is so funny to me for so many reasons.
You have, it was the year that Justify won the Triple Crown. And Woods had it in his head that he wanted to see a famous horse.
I forgot about
at the track that day.
I mean, Woods is just like you said. He's not into the racing. He didn't want to be there. He didn't see any value in us going out there as a show. And you can hear that in this clip. And then you can also hear this was July 18th of 2018. We'd only been a show for 3.5 months.
Yeah, it might have been our first time going out and about outside the studio.
We're
at this
all
point.
still feeling each other out, and Ben is so over Woods's BS.
So he just, as usual.
July 18th, 2018, opening day at Del Mar. This was 6:30 in the morning.
Look, there's Justify. You see him?
It's not Justify.
Oh, well, it's a brown horse. How would you know? You wouldn't know if I put him in a lineup.
I asked him. I interviewed him earlier. That wasn't Justify.
But that's the thing is it could be, and you would never know. That's what I'm saying. But would it embarrass you guys that every jockey that rode by on a horse, if I asked them if that was Justify?
Yes, it would.
Would it?
Absolutely would.
Is that Justify? Is that Secretariat?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now I'm all caught up in my horse racing for 2018.
Long
That's all
gone.
you needed to know.
Long gone.
Justify. Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Secretariat's not.
We did lose
Do you know that, or
funny
did you just say
side.
yes?
We lost Funny Side this week. The famous gelding who won the Kentucky Derby. You know what a gelding is?
It's a male horse.
A male horse that what specifically?
Is there
A gelding is a male horse who is
mating?
castrated. So they don't produce foals. They can't breed, which actually reduces the value. If you win the Kentucky Derby, one of the great ways.
You're a gelding.
Horse. I'm not a gelding.
Didn't you have a vasectomy?
That's true. I did.
You are a gelding.
You're a gelding.
Sucker.
You're a gelding.
I'm not a gelding.
You're not a gelding.
No, I'm not a gelding.
You're stud.
A stud.
Would be the opposite of a gelding.
I wanted you to say it, not me. Have him saying you're a stud. Keep that. Yeah, you're a gelding. You got gelding.
I mean, that's what the great horses do that retire that aren't geldings. They're put out to stud, which means
Sounds like a good bit.
Their job is to essentially impregnate female horses, and their owners get paid sometimes hundreds of $1,000s a pop. Kind of literally.
I had a pretty good career, kicking ass, winning races. Now it's time to head out to the fields and create
progeny out there that could be the next great generation of racehorses with the good bloodlines of like a Kentucky Derby champion.
Ben was very mad. That's a short clip, but I did that bit to him all day. Hey, is that Justify? Are you John Justify? He got so mad. Those are his people out there. Those were not my people. They were his people, and he got mad when I messed with his people. It's like if you did it to my friends at, like a monster truck rally or something. That's in your mind. That's what you think. That's where I belong. But no.
Is that the Undertaker?
Is that the Undertaker? Is that Gravedigger? Is that Gravedigger? So good.
Let's go back out to the phones.
It's actually easier with monster trucks. No, the one that says Gravedigger on it, that's Gravedigger.
Love it.
We still have people who want to talk about Juan Soto. 833-288-0973. Let's go to Dan. You are next up here with Ben and Woods on a Thursday morning. Hello, Dan.
Hey, good morning, boys. How's it going?
Good.
Well, man.
I'm kind of with you guys, man. This guy, Juan Soto, is a justified stud. If you look at his stats from when he was with Washington, his numbers are kind of down. His batting average is about 20, 30 down. But this guy getting on base is a machine, man.
He is.
And I think we need to look more towards the other batters not bringing him in.
Correct.
That's like Tatis. Tatis is on a slump. He's kind of in and out, here, there, striking out, looking, swinging. And I kind of had a thought, what if we, in the offseason, train him to be a first baseman?
Soto?
And then we can re-sign him. Yeah, Soto.
It's not the worst idea.
I honestly had never even considered that.
It's not the worst idea I've ever heard. I don't know. I don't know Juan at all. I think we talked to him for 5 minutes. I don't know if he'd ever have any desire of being an infielder. I can't imagine he wouldn't be. Playing infield's awesome. Playing first base is even better.
Especially for a chatty, smiley guy phenomenal. Like Juan Soto.
But again, I think
Dan just blew my mind.
I think wherever you put him, defensively, there you might have a couple of lapses. You might, but
now what happens to Jake and Ha-Seong Kim if Juan Soto's at first base? I like the idea. Certainly,
I have no idea. I have said since Jake came here that Jake should be an outfielder. I have always said that.
So Jake may be in left field.
But I mean, you can't.
Now you're putting a lot of guys in new positions.
Also not adult ball. So you're like, hey, you ever play left? All right, get out there.
Are you going to play short next inning? And we need you to catch after that.
Somebody said he'd be tripping all over the place at first. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. He's an average left fielder. He's average. He's not terrible. He's not spectacular. He's an average left fielder who, by the way, is an elite batsman. He is an elite batsman. His on base percentage, his OBP, all of those numbers are elite numbers. Man, do I wish he had 25 home runs right now? Yeah. Would that be easier to stomach with all the walks? Absolutely. But where he is compared to how he started is spectacular. I don't think we're giving him enough credit for the awful slump he started in this season. To have the numbers he has now, Ben, frankly, his numbers should look more like Cronenworth's do now. That's how bad that start was, and he's pulled himself out of it, and he's an elite player. He really is. He's an elite player, and I think we are. And I think, callers to this radio station, I think people on Twitter, I think they are a little bit tough on a guy that, by the way, it's not contingent. There's not some clause in his contract that's, oh my God, we're about to unload $500 million on this guy. And everyone acts like we are. It's not. We don't ever have to give the guy another penny than what he's owed.
And I'll give, I think it was Dan, credit for another good point. What if Juan Soto was doing what he was doing, getting on base, walking, and the Padres were what we expected them to be, with Xander and Manny and Jake driving in runs all over the place, and Juan was on his way to like a record-setting year of scoring runs.
Yeah, he'd be leading the league,
like heading toward 200 runs scored this year. We'd be through the moon, elated. My God, Juan Soto setting the table, doing all kinds of things for these guys who are just driving him in. It's not Juan Soto's fault that Manny slumped for 3 months and Xander slumped for 2 months and Jake has slumped all season long. And those guys have generally been the three guys hitting behind him all year.
If you look at the lineup, he's pretty much the only guy doing his job, right? Manny, come on.
Now he's great. Yes. Now.
2 weeks, right? I mean, he's
July.
Like, I don't know that I like Soto in the leadoff spot. We talked about that earlier. Like, at the plate, yeah, he looks like a leadoff hitter, but then you get on base and he's not quite that guy that you want. I still think that Tatis 1, Soto 2, and then if the guys behind them step up and do their jobs consistently, we're in business.
Xander
sign me up for that for 10 years.
Now again, Xander Bogaerts, what's his contract? 280. I mean, he's kind of the one that I think that a lot of the focus should be on right now. I know the guy got the cortisone shot. Not seeing much from Xander Bogaerts to help this team win on a nightly basis. Are you guys seeing everything from X?
He probably should be getting more criticism than Soto's getting.
Yeah.
But I think part of it is we've seen Soto for a little bit longer now.
Right. Then there's that, the expected slug that he had in Washington and all the doubles, everything else he hit. But again, I mean, 17 bombs, 53 RBI, 55 runs scored, OBP of 417. I mean, this guy's getting on base 4 out of 10 times. Slugging, what is his slug again? I mean, it's good. It's very good. OPS is good, on base plus slugging. It's kind of what you look at these days. I mean, he's really not the guy you want to crush. I don't think. And I know there was frustrating at bats last night. I'm trying to think of the best players in the world, and he's in the top 10 best players in baseball, to be sure. I've seen all those guys have crap at bats from time to time. I saw Shohei.
Bryce Harper, you posted one.
Dude, Bryce Harper last night. Well, by the way, let's call spade a spade. Bryce Harper went up there last night, and all the Philly fans and media are saying, well, he was sick. Well, if he was sick, he shouldn't have been in there. He went up there with a bat on his shoulder and watched 7 pitches and struck out looking. Didn't move the bat off his shoulder. Almost didn't move it. He just stood there and watched. You're so sick you can't swing a bat, you shouldn't be in the lineup. But what are people going to say about Bryce? Freaking gamer. Man, guy got out there, he's sick. What a gamer. Yeah, he looked at 7 pitches and struck out looking. What a gamer he is. I wonder why.
You're talking about something else now.
100%, dude. It's so very obvious when you're talking about baseball these days what certain people's perspectives are, and we know why.
I am curious how Eno Sarris is going to bring a non-Padres fan smart baseball perspective to this on Juan Soto. My thinking is he's going to look at us and go, "What? Why do you people not appreciate Juan Soto down there?" But we'll see what he actually has to say.
This is really a thing?
Yeah,
this is a
coming up
conversation?
here at the bottom of the hour. I'm curious with less emotion involved when we talk to Eno Sarris from The Athletic at 8:35. This hour on The Fan is brought to you by Cars.com. Whether you're looking for the perfect summer road trip car or something you can zip around in, visit Cars.com today. They have over 2 million cars for your 2 million summer possibilities. Head to Cars.com. Check out the possibilities, Cars.com. Where to next? We still have the phone lines open, 833-288-0973. Eno Sarris.
Our pal Corey just texted me, goes, hey, don't forget about our horrible DHs this year as well. And we're in here railing on Juan Soto. Not Matt Carpenter, not Xander Bogaerts, not Jay Cronenworth, not Tatis even to some extent. Juan Soto, the guy that's producing probably more than anybody else on the team. That's what we've decided.
Bigger expectations, obviously.
I guess. Expectations.
We'll be back after traffic.
If not Juan Soto, then it's Bob Melvin's fault.
Right. Exactly.
On 97.3 The Fan.
Well, can we just play the whole song since we have to break again in like two minutes? You have a 2-minute nugget?
I do.
You do?
I have an absolutely 2-minute nugget. I actually have a trivia question for you.
Love trivia.
Who is, Paul, you can answer this one as well.
Okay.
Who is Christo Lamprecht? Christo Lamprecht.
Soccer player.
Ooh, doesn't that sounds good. Good answer, Woods. I like that.
Relief pitcher, obviously.
Christo Lamprecht.
Golfer.
Yes.
Should have known. He tried this morning.
Does he play for San Diego State?
I have not touched it. He is the 22-year-old amateur from South Africa who currently shares the lead in the first round of the Open Championship at Royal Liverpool.
They don't call this the British Open anymore,
No,
right?
it's really just the Open. Some people say the Open Championship, but technically they like to go by just the Open.
And it used to be the British Open.
We all called it the British Open. They never called it the British Open.
They wouldn't say like, and now live from the British Open.
No,
that was just a
they
fan
would just say
thing.
they would say the Open Championship. They recently just shortened it to the Open. They really want to like consider themselves the premier golf tournament of the world.
It's a good tournament.
We still call the U.S. Open the U.S. Open.
What do they call it?
They call it the U.S. Open as well. But we don't call our Open the Open as well.
Open.
We could also say
this is like the Ohio State University.
Yeah, we're the Open. Yeah, they're like the Ohio, the Open. Christo Lamprecht teed off early today, shot a 66. Never heard of the guy, but 22 years old, and he is tied right now with Tommy Fleetwood atop the leaderboard in the first round. There are still players on the course. You got some Americans who are tied for fourth. Wyndham Clark, the U.S. Open champions, at 3 under. Stuart Sink at 3 under. Jordan Spieth is at 2 under. You got a lot of guys at 1 under, including Xander Schauffele, Scotty Scheffler, Brooks Koepka, Patrick Cantley, Patrick Reed are all there at under par. Only about, 26 golfers under par so far. So course is held up well. It was a nice day, not too windy, not too rainy, anything like that. Pretty good weather on the first day of the British Open. So that's your quick update from Royal Liverpool. And I waited like 2.5 hours before I even mentioned it, Wood. So that's restraint. That's discipline from yours truly this morning during a golf. This isn't the 3M Open. That's next week. This is a major tournament.
Sure.
And now I've gotten just to the point where it's time for Eno to join us with his Smart Baseball segment. And by the way, last segment of the day on Ben and Woods, because we will lead you right in. He's here now. Sam Levitt, in-season Sammy, is getting ready for the pregame show, which starts at 9:07 this morning.
I feel like I'm stealing money today just doing a 3-hour show. I feel bad. Adam, do you need me to stick around and do some video content for you? We'll get to that, too, at some point.
Oh, we've got some video content.
This guy, I swear to God. I swear.
It's all coming up on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Breaking news on 97.3 The Fan is presented by BetQL. Smarter bets start with BetQL. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today. And we have a Padres roster move. As somewhat expected, right-handed pitcher Robert Suarez has returned from rehab and been reinstated from the 60-day IL. Right-handed pitcher Matt Waldron has been optioned to AAA El Paso to make room on the 40-man roster for Suarez. Left-handed pitcher Jose Castillo has been designated for assignment. So Robert Suarez back on the team and ready to make his 2023 Padres debut.
Welcome back.
Either today or probably this weekend in Detroit.
Yeah, or today.
Will it be in the eighth inning in the setup situation, or will it be earlier in the game in a lower leverage situation? Not sure how Bob Melvin is going to use Robert Suarez right away, but he certainly could use some help out of the bullpen. That has been a major issue for the Padres, not the last 2 days, but certainly the last month and a half or so. It's been the team's biggest weakness, and they're getting one of their expected biggest strengths back.
It'll be good to see him back, man. Good to see Bob Suarez back in there.
And all our speculation of who they were going to drop down. I had forgotten Matt Waldron was actually on the 26-man roster.
Same.
Probably would have picked him as the obvious candidate instead of Brent Honeywell, who I went with when
I went with Luis Garcia.
But it's Waldron who gets sent back down.
All right.
To AAA. All right, we got Eno Sarris standing by.
People have options and people
are
don't
definitely
have
the big factor there. Smart Baseball segment coming up right after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Traffic is sponsored by the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. Got a couple of problems here. Crash in the North County West 78 before the 15's got middle lanes blocked. Also, northbound side of the 805 before Home Avenue, collision blocking the fast lane. Also, big reminder, Comic-Con runs today through Sunday. Going to find a lot of foot traffic in the Gaslamp East Village area, so please take it extra carefully if you are driving that area. And keep in mind, Harbor Drive in front of the convention center closed to all traffic. That includes cars, motorbikes, motorcycles, electric bikes, skateboards. Yeah, if you're on foot, you're going to be okay through that area. The San Diego Sheriff's Department is working hard to keep San Diego safe and is now hiring. The Sheriff's Department offers rewarding careers with growth and has an opportunity for anyone with integrity that wants to make a difference. Go to joinsdsheriff.net to learn more. That's joinsdsheriff.net. And Kelly Danik with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
A Fan.
Got him back post All-Star break from the Athletic. Eno Sarris joins us now on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. And Eno, you're walking into a minefield this morning, where like a crisis amongst Padres fans after I threw out a tweet last night about Juan Soto and just a frustrating at bat, and everybody has come out of the woodwork admitting to the fact that they're not necessarily enamored of Juan Soto, even though the numbers are there. They want more RBI. They want more aggression from the plate, and the walks are starting to actually frustrate people. And Woodsy's been fighting the good fight this morning and defending Juan Soto. And I thought we need Eno to give a non-emotional perspective of the value that Juan Soto actually brings to the table as a baseball player. Good morning to you, Eno.
Good morning, pit of vipers.
Yeah, right. It's like a wolf's nest.
What? You know, one thing I'd like to say before we get into it is just that I understand like a visceral reaction, right?
Yeah.
Like walks are boring. It's non-action. It's not a thing. And so, I understand not liking that aspect of it. And I just have to say that, like, I think that like Soto and like Yordan Alvarez are, I think, like the best hitters in the game, though, because they just don't do anything outside of their comfort zone. They shrunk the zone that they're going to swing at into just where they can do damage, and they do damage when they swing. And I think they're the most professional hitters in baseball. Yordan Alvarez may be a little bit more exciting to watch because his power is a little bit more raw, like he's got more raw power. But Soto hits the ball as hard as anyone. I think last time I checked, he was a leader in hard hit rate. And when you sum it all up, Juan Soto is the 6th best hitter in baseball this year. It goes Shohei, Acuna, Yandy Diaz, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Juan Soto. So,
well, you'd never know it here, man. You'd never freaking know it. You would think that we're running Ryan Ludwig out there. You think he's Ryan Ludwig? I mean, honestly, nothing against Ryan, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, he has the lowest slugging percentage of that top 6.
Sure.
So it's I guess it's fair. I don't necessarily use RBI, but his RBI totals line up. Like Acuna has 58 RBI and Soto has 54. I mean, what are we talking about here? So RBI is really a function of what your teammates are doing.
Sure.
As I see it, and I do want to give some credit to what it's like to watch a game and watch a Juan Soto at bat, because it might end up in a walk. I think it was one of these last 2 games. It was late in the game, and there was a runner on first, and Juan Soto took a walk. Right? Was that like the 8th or 9th inning of one of the last few games?
Well, yesterday he had taken 3 walks, and he came up in a 2-0 Padres lead with runner out on second base and 1 out, and he got ahead 3-1, and then he had 2 pitches that were. They were good pitches. They were both in the zone. They were both up enough where you thought this is something you might be able to do some damage on. And he took them both. They were both close. They were both called strikes, and he struck out looking. And that's when I sent the tweet out.
But Eno just said he's not going to swing at a pitch he doesn't think he can do damage.
I get it. One was a good lane changer. The other one was very borderline, and he didn't swing at them. And I felt like the best. Okay, so if he walks there, he takes first base. He sets up potentially a double play for a guy who's hit into a lot of them. Behind him, Manny Machado. Isn't that the place where you expand your zone just a little bit? And maybe even if you make not strong contact, you could bloop one in and score the run. That the value there is not necessarily in walking, it's in hitting in that at bat, especially when the pitches are either very close to the zone or in the zone.
With a guy on second base, and you said 1 out?
1 out, nobody else on base. Yeah.
You're expected to score 2/3 of a run. So 2/3 of the time you score 1 run.
First and second with 1 out.
9/10.
So you're adding to the expected run total by walking there for sure.
Pretty amazing. Yeah. I didn't realize that. Also, Manny is electrically white hot right behind him and has not hit into a double play in a long time. So I guess and what you said, makes the most sense of anything I've heard. And when you talk about Yordan Alvarez and you talk about Juan Soto, strikes are not all created equal. There is a strike that you're like, cool, I can't do anything with it. I tip my cap and I go back to the dugout. Then there are strikes where you're like, oh, that's in the happy zone. Juan Soto, you're saying, really only wants to swing and pitches in the happy zone. And when he gets himself into trouble is when he swings and pitches outside the happy zone. I guess I'm 100% fine with him focusing in, shrinking the plate, cutting it in half, whatever phrase you want to use. It's so elite. It's so elite for somebody that played baseball to think about the ability to do that. That I think, again, I caution all of us to just kind of say, hey, listen, nobody owes a guy a nickel more than he's worth now. You don't have to pay him anything right now, right? You pay him what you agreed to. You got him for another year and a half. And then let's see. Let's see at the end. I still think this kid's 24 and just getting better every day.
The other thing that I like to point out is, like, I had this long held theory, and I haven't really proven it yet, but I'm sure it's true. So in 1 year in the 90s or so, Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Adam Dunn had the same OPS, same weighted on base average rate. They had the same production, quote unquote, right?
Right.
But Adam Dunn is totally different than Vlad Guerrero.
Correct.
Adam Dunn is more like Soto, where he's walk, homer, strikeout, and more strikeouts than Soto even, but like more like a Soto. And Vlad Guerrero Jr., I would say, was more like a Tatis or a Machado, where he swung a lot, he was aggressive, he swung his pitches outside zone sometimes, but he did damage on those pitches and was able to expand the zone and do damage. And my theory is that, the number that they put up, this WOBA or OPS, whatever, says that, they had the same value. But if you took a team of Adam Dunns and put it up against a team of Vlad Guerreros, or up against a team of mixed Adam Dunn and Vlad Guerrero, the mixed Adam Dunn Vlad Guerrero team would do the best.
Yeah, for sure. We talked about that before. The different kinds of players, the way the roster is constructed that's been one of the most fascinating, eye-opening things for me from our conversations this year as well. It makes a lot of sense.
So I think theoretically this lineup, I think, is theoretically really well built. Because if you think about it, Xander Bogaerts is a hit tool guy. He's a guy who will get you singles. He makes a lot of contact. He does put up professional IBAs, and he doesn't reach a lot. And he's not but he walks enough. But he's a hit tool guy. Fernando Tatis is power and aggression. He's not going to take a ton of walks. Manny is sort of power with hit tool. Just an amazing hitter. And then putting Soto in the middle of this, the theory is we go walk, hit, walk, homer. You know what I mean?
All day.
You kind of alternate. It doesn't obviously always work out that way.
We know,
but if Jake Cronenworth was hitting to where he's hit in the past, that's a hit tool guy, right? So you've got multiple hit tool guys, you got multiple aggressive guys, and you got multiple guys who can take a walk. I mean, that was the idea going into the season. And I think when they're going well, you can see it. When they're not going well, you start yelling about Juan Soto walking too much.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Talking to Eno Sarris from The Athletic. Let's talk about regression. And what's the opposite word of regression when someone's not doing well? Progression. Manny Machado.
I guess it's not something that people. It's like one of the hardest things to explain to people.
Yeah, but Manny Machado's really been talking about. He talks about putting numbers up. The back of the baseball card will win out at the end of the season. And boy, he was off to a slow start. Now he is on fire as anyone, and those numbers are quickly coming back up to look Manny-like. But you look around the league, and a team like the Miami Marlins that you kind of thought maybe doing it with smoke and mirrors. They're winning a lot of close games, and all of a sudden, boom, you hit the All-Star break. They've lost 6 in a row. They're dropping like a stone right now.
The Reds have dropped 6 in a row.
The Reds as well. It's almost the unavoidable thing in baseball, and this is why your stuff is so valuable. You kind of have to trust it, even when your eyes tell you like, oh, what's going on here? And the Padres are the other way. We saw Jim Bowden send a tweet, your colleague, that said, hey, the numbers scream that the Padres are about to break out, that they're better, they should be doing well, and we keep waiting for it. Maybe it will come. It's happening with these players. It's happening with these other teams. Maybe it is coming here with the San Diego Padres.
I think, one thing for Manny was last year, that injury that he had. Am I correct in saying that there was like a tear in that ankle?
Yeah. It was torn. It was torn.
I heard most people would have had
grade
surgery.
3, I think, ankle, whatever that is medically. It was an actual
sprain
tear in his ankle.
So, So he had a really bad ankle injury, and you could actually see in the exit velocities that there was an effect. And so sometimes you look at the barrel rates of the exit velocities for Manny this year, and you go, well, they're not quite where they've been when he's at his best. Well, he had that hamate injury, right? And I just trusted the fact that he's not striking out much more than usual. He's still, the swing looks the same, and I do trust that somebody who has this long of a track record, you believe in him. And now, when I look at him, I say that's one of the sweetest swings in baseball. And when he connects, like he mishit a ball the other day and went oppo. I know it only went like 340 feet or whatever, but he went oppo easy on this beautiful swing where he mishit the ball. It wasn't even on the barrel. And so I think that when I saw that, I was like, okay, Manny's back. And so when you have Manny back, and Suarez is no little thing either, because that was supposed to be a big piece of the back end. If you move everybody back a seat, Nick Martinez back a seat, Steve Wilson back a seat, now you've got 4 innings or 3 innings at least that you feel like when we have our A relievers in there, we can shut them down for 3 innings.
Yeah,
and that's huge. So. And I think Morahan, somebody asked me if there was a player that, could be the random, glue in this. I think Morahan could be that, because you just heard me say, they have 3 innings that can shut them down. Sometimes you have Blake Snell go 5. What about the 6th inning? And I feel like Morahan could be, such a good bridge there.
He's friggin' hurt again, though.
Right? Is he hurt again?
Yeah, hurt his knee. Funky.
I saw him do that. Did he?
Funky delivery and slipped, and Bob came out, and you can see
it was one of those like tweeners,
wasn't it? Was
it was
like
like second base in the mound, and you saw him like it was really awkward.
He was falling off right, and then tried to go left, and
he wanted to stay in, and Bob said no, not, and you're not staying.
Yeah, he was right. But I like one more person to step forward. Like maybe it's just Cosgrove, continuing to do what he's doing. Or maybe it's Honeywell. Somebody needs to step into that 6th inning mix because I think Wilson Suarez Martinez Hader is a pretty good plan for 3 innings.
You're kind of breaking up a little bit, so why don't we say
it's our fault,
farewell? Yeah, well, it's also Eno's phone you said is not working today,
you're right.
So
you're right.
We can't do that as well. It's one or the other, but good stuff. We'll talk to you next Thursday, man. We got a game to start in about
we do
10 minutes as well, or a pregame show at least. We got early baseball today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, brother.
There he is, Eno Sarris on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall Chevrolet. Find new roads.
That was Eno Sarris, sponsored by 7 Mile Casino, featuring all of your favorite table games like California-style blackjack, poker, and baccarat. Just 7 minutes from the ballpark.
Yeah, I was agreeing with you as well, and I realize, and I see everyone says in the chat, we have Ben to thank for this entire topic from the tweet that I sent last night. Juan Soto.
We're very proud of your tweet.
I mean, I feel like we are in Gladiator. And we've decided to put our hand out, where you're doing the thumbs up or down, whether, is it a thumbs up on Juan Soto or are we a thumbs down on Juan Soto right now? But there's no reason you have to make your final decision today on Juan Soto for the rest of your life on whether you like him and think he should be a here for the rest of time, or
we don't have to.
You don't have to make the decision today, Spartacus style, with your thumbs up or your thumbs down. But I did start this, and Eno, I thought, finished it pretty well there with, I mean, why wouldn't you like a baseball player who does exactly what you really want every baseball player to do? Swing at the good pitches that you can hit really hard, and when you do, you hit the ball harder than anybody else in baseball. And then all the other pitches that you either can't hit hard or are balls you don't swing at.
It's truly the most...
And that's what he does. Better than everybody else in baseball.
When you think about it that way, it's just remarkable. And again, I mean, don't tell me that he's not pitched differently. He is. I mean, he is pitched differently, as you have to. You have to pitch Juan Soto different than you pitch Fernando or Manny or everything else. And I'm telling you, man, he is spit on. He's got also, by the way, he's gotten hosed. Paulie brought this up the other day. That dude gets hosed more than anybody I've ever seen. On pitches in, on pitches up.
You can't have
pitches away,
that on base percentage and the walks numbers, and not have the elite eye. Like if he thinks it's a ball, I'm going with him.
Mr. Soto will tell you when it's a ball. That's cool. It's really cool when you think about it like that, and splitting that plate in half, or looking for that pitch in the zone that he can drive and do damage with. And by the way, like Eno said, when he does swing, and it's weird because I see all the rollovers too. I'm the one that, I'm like, oh my God, Randy, here comes Randy rollover, weak ground ball between first and second and easy flip to first. And he's out by a mile. But you just have to not have a short, take a look at the body of work, I guess, with Juan Soto. It's hard to do. It is hard to do. I'm not blaming fans for their frustration, not blaming you for being frustrated last night. How interesting is that though? You get runners on first and second, better.
Well, it should be better than one run on. I know it does set up the double play, but ultimately you're going to score more runs if you have guys on first and second with one out than you do just one guy at second base, obviously, with just one out. He also mentioned about how hot Manny is right now. Talked about a specific, I don't remember which at-bat it was specifically, but drove it 340 the other way on a miss hit. It reminds me earlier this week, Shohei Ohtani hit a home run on a ball that basically jammed him, and he hit it out to center field over the wall.
It's crazy.
Guy is nuts right now. And the Angels quietly, thanks to a dominating series over the Yankees this week, have climbed back above 500. And the latest reports are that the Angels will make no decision on Shohei Ohtani until the last minute.
Jeez,
they will wait until
it's changed
24 to 48 hours before the trade deadline before they do their yay or nay on Shohei Ohtani. So looks like we're going to be in limbo here for another 10 days or so. For a lot of teams, Padres probably not going to make a decision. We just So we just found out tomorrow on a Friar Friday, we will be joined from Detroit, Michigan, by none other than Bob Melvin, the skipper of the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
And then next week, we believe on Friar Friday, the last Friar Friday before the trade deadline, we will be joined by Peter Seidler. So that will be probably maybe one of the most critical Friar Fridays of the year. What will that be? The 28th of July ahead of the August 1st trade deadline, with hopefully Peter Seidler to join us in a week. So 2 big Friar Fridays coming up, and everyone looks like they're waiting until the last second. Padres waiting, Angels waiting. We could have the biggest flurry of like July 31st to August 1st deals you're ever going to be seeing based on what kind of decisions teams are making at the last minute. So this next week, absolutely huge for teams like the Padres and the Angels going forward.
Just keep it rolling, man. Keep it rolling today. Keep it rolling today. Get that sweep. Get to Detroit. Holy smokes.
Dodgers lost yesterday to the Orioles, who have climbed into first place. I mean, remember how hot the Tampa Bay Rays started?
Yeah.
Orioles now in first place in the AL East. If you're a Dodgers fan, are you concerned? You're in first place. Diamondbacks, that's more a function of the Diamondbacks scuffling lately than the Dodgers playing well. Julio Urias' ERA is now above 5 for the Dodgers this season.
Yeah, not had a good year.
Clayton Kershaw is good when he's healthy, but you have no idea when he's available and whether he's going to have the durability to pitch into October.
And I saw a report yesterday that said, yeah, it's no secret. We're going after starting pitching. We've got 3 rookies in the rotation, but it goes beyond the 3 rookies, as you just mentioned. I think they are getting Walker Buehler back in September, I do believe, which, I mean, again,
but Dustin May's gone for the year.
Dustin May's gone for the year. What better time to get a Walker Buehler back? Not hopefully, but I guess hopefully if you're a Dodger fan, he's ready to go.
But remember, some of the potential best pitchers on the market probably not going to be available to the Dodgers. Kurt Corbin Burns, the Brewers are still very much in the NL Central race. Blake Snell, whether or not the Padres are in it, they ain't trading Blake Snell to the Dodgers.
No, I can't imagine that they would.
I can see no scenario where that's going to happen. So, some of the names being talked about as starting pitching options are not going to be there for the Dodgers at the trade deadline. We'll see what they do, but they are definitely not as good as the Dodgers teams the last 3 years. Now, they may be laughing all the way to the playoffs going,
oh, yeah,
we picked a great year to kind of not do anything because here we are sitting in first place. Ha. We've made no moves in the offseason, essentially, and the Padres have been disappointing. The Diamondbacks have crashed back to earth. The Giants are good, but we're ahead of them.
Giants are looking really good.
We're in first place. Giants have played well since the break. They beat the Reds, or they lost to the Reds yesterday, but Diamondbacks bounced back with some wins over the Braves here the last couple of days. It's a tight race at the top, but the Padres are they're lingering. They're not totally out of even the NL West race because the Diamondbacks have let everybody back in it. So interesting stuff coming up this next week and hopefully these last 2 months of the season.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. There are some interesting races to watch. You have talked about a couple of teams kind of falling off the map a little bit. Our beloved Marlins have lost 6 in a row. I mean, I guess it's good for us. We need all those teams to filter out.
I see Sam Levitt ready to take his place in here. First, though, we have to pause 10 seconds for station identification.
KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
A leadoff home run for Fernando. Second pitch of the night.
The Padres play here on San Diego's #1 sports station. 97.3 The Fan. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
And this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by sugar or diet sweeteners. Hint is water with a touch of true fruit flavor. More than 25 delicious flavors in stores or at hintwater.com. Sammy will have all the matchups for you. Blake Snell against Chris Bassett coming up your way momentarily here on 97.3 The Fan.
I love a good morning game. My kids are in school. I can actually watch the game. It's just fantastic.
Padres,
play every game at 10.
Technically now going for their second sweep in their last 4 series. They also had the series win over the Mets going into the All-Star break. And, of course, the dropping of 3 of the 4 of the Phillies that pretty much looked like the end for a second. But now, all of a sudden, here they go again, getting our hopes up.
Yep.
With still more than 2 months left in the season. Not over yet.
This would go a long way.
Yeah.
Long way. You get a happy Bob Melvin tomorrow. Fresh off a sweep. Be fantastic.
That would be nice.
Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great?
I think Adam referred. We get a jacked up Bob Melvin. I don't know that Bob Melvin's ever
I don't see him jacked up.
But he might be in a good mood if we catch him after a sweep tomorrow. All right, that'll be it for us A little short show today, but we'll be back for 4 more hours tomorrow at 6 a.m. For executive producer Paul Reindl and Stephen Woods. I'm Ben Higgins, Sam Levitt. Padres pregame coming up next right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.